Good morning or evening or late night or wherever we are from around the world. I know we've got lots of you on the call today, and I can see, thank you, as we just got our guests sorted in the last few minutes, that all of you look like you've got started and letting us know already. I love seeing where you're all from in the chat box here. We've got Cindy, we've got Sarah from TN, is that Tennessee? I got to learn all my states, right? Jackie from London, hey, great to have you here. Ashley, great to see you. Michelle, it's so, oh my gosh, there's so many. Jessica, great to have you here. I'm so excited to be on a journey with you in the next few months. It's great to see you here. Yep, some of you I know have got to go get kids from school, and some of the panelists do as well. I'm going to be coming and going, so it's really free flow here today for our community of health coaches, healers, coaches, and I think it's a very important time that we all connect in this way in the world and really have each other's backs, you know, and really be here for each other to have this conversation about what it's going to take now for us to really get our work out into the world as health coaches, healers, wellness professionals, etc. And this format of call is one of the highlights of my year, which I do once, sometimes twice a year. And that's where I bring in other health coaches and healers and wellness professionals to share with you what they've done to grow their business in the first year or so of getting started. So let me know if you are new to one of my calls before we get started. I'd love to know if anyone here is new, or have you been on previous training calls? This will be a bit different than the normal ones we do. It's less about me teaching and more about our beautiful panel helping you with your questions and obviously sharing their experiences. Vanessa, lovely to have you here. Carolyn, you. Oh, okay. Lots of new people I can see, and I didn't prepare any slides to introduce myself to you, so maybe I better do that quickly first, and then we'll dive in and introduce you to the ladies who have, you know, kindly given up their time today to share their experiences. Okay, lots of new faces here. Wonderful. Okay. So for those of you who then don't already know me, my name is Amanda Jane Daly. I'm a business mentor for health and wellness professionals, really specializing in health coaching, life coaching, and working with healers to bring their packages together to serve the world, make a big impact. And I think that'd be undeniable if anyone said that wasn't needed right now. And I think for those of us who are being called to this path, have an even deeper knowing right now that we need to be rising, we need to be getting this work out there. And last year I talked a lot in my trainings around it being the time of the health coach and the healer rising. And today I've been saying it's the year that health coaches are going to fly. And I absolutely believe that. And while we feel stronger energies going on in the world, it also means that we're all being woken up in many ways, much quicker. And more people are needing the healing, and you are all being called into your purpose even faster. And actually even easier. So you will be able to, I think, fly so much quicker and easier in your jobs, professions, careers, whatever you want to call them as we go forward this year. So really, really quickly, because it's not about me today, but so you know who I am. I work and live here in my house in Bondi Beach in Australia, and spend about a third of the year, at least the last several years anyway, in America as well. So I work around the world as a business mentor. And a real quick down memory lane, I was in corporate advertising, digital advertising for over 15 years, working on many of the world's great big brands, but I was burning out and burning out and burning out. So I had a bit of a parallel life going on where I was learning to be an energy healer and yoga teacher and all these wonderful things. And I was tying them all together. And eventually I found health coaching, and I was like, wow, this is it. Like, this is what my life's been leading towards. And I could bring everything that I've learned out to the world. So I was ever so excited. I don't know if any of you can relate to this. And I thought leaving my corporate job was going to be the answer to my health, and I'm going to be a health coach. And to cut a very long story short, I left my job and I couldn't get clients. And I spiraled downwards really into a place of depression quite quickly, where I'd gone from being top of my game in the world and advertising to feeling like a 10-year-old is what I always said it was like, where someone had stripped me of my identity, stripped me of my confidence, I didn't know how to get a client. And I'd done the health coaching schools. I'd done the online business trainings. I'd even got mentors, and I didn't know how to get clients. And I was making no money, even though on the outside it looked like I was living the coach's dream. I hadn't made a sense, and I'd had no clients. So like I said, this is the quick version today for those of you who don't know me. I did really piece a lot of pieces together and work out how to make money as a health coach. And then once I kind of put all of these pieces together, which was a combination of my past career, a combination of my energy healing work, and everything I'd been learning in the online business field as well, I really quite quickly then started making $5,000 a month as a health coach, moving up to $7,000, $11,000, $13,000 a month purely from the one-on-one health coaching, and started to realize I kind of knew what to do by this stage, and it really clicked. And despite so many people wanting me to show them how to do it, I refused because I thought business was the devil, and I was just all about health coaching and that I just wanted to make an impact in the world through health. I knew it's what was most important and what was needed in my calling. And then through another healing cycle that I really went through in myself, realized with massive, like someone had hit me with bricks one day. I was sitting in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, and I just got it. And I was like, I can even feel it as I say it. Like what I knew from my training, what I had discovered myself in the early days of health coaching is not taught, and still is not taught in our communities, despite how far we've come in the last few years. And I realized that it was actually extremely selfish of me to not share that with the health coaching community, and that was the way that I could make an impact. If you could all understand what I'd learned, both from the real strategic business side of what works for health coaches and healers, which is different to all of the training that's being like general business training out there, but also the internal work, which was the wealth consciousness coaching that I'd learned along the way, and how to free ourselves from so many limiting paradigms that we have about money. It's extremely strong in those of us who are healers, and the breakthroughs are phenomenal when we grasp that. So fast forward a little bit more, just to give you context, my business today does bring in very high six figures consistently each year, over seven figures in the last 18 months. And I work purely with health coaches, healers in the coaching realm through my signature programs, which bring in strategy and business and how to get clients. Which is a very, I call masculine, structured. You need a step-by-step plan, but also as that wealth coach on the internal work. And that's, I believe, why we get such amazing results in our community, is because we're working on both pieces together. And so that's my 7-minute spiel to you all about myself. And I hope that that gives you a bit of context of who I am. And, like I say now, traveling the world, live from home, work my own schedule. I think I was actually sitting here yesterday. I'm doing some amazing things this year. I'll be in Necker Island with Richard Branson later in the year, and a lot of travel on the agenda again. And just reflecting on, like, I did not know only 4 years ago that this was even possible. That, like, I actually, there's emotion, and we won't cry today. I did that on the last call of the mastermind last week. But, we need to dream bigger, ladies. We need to allow ourselves, before we even talk today in this Q&A, as a community, we need to, in some ways, just take off the layers of our thinking of what's possible for us. Because I was sitting exactly where you are only a couple of years ago. I had no idea. And many of the books, the teachings, the wisdoms that we won't go into today, but say it's the most unlikely candidates that are here to be leaders. And I think all of us are getting a bit of resonance with that right now in the world, that those tapping on our shoulder that maybe are meant to make a difference, maybe are meant to be a health coach. If you want this, it's there for a reason. And it's time for us as a community to get really strict on not falling into, I really want this as a woman, but my husband doesn't approve of the money. Or I really want this, but my family doesn't really think I should. No. The change in the world for women is going to come from us backing ourselves first. And that's listening to our voices and trusting that it's there for a reason, and it's not going to go away And that's where the change in the world is going to start, when we take our own power first. And that's scary. That's scary, to follow our dreams. It is, in hindsight, I keep getting shivers today as we're talking, like, in hindsight, what a stupid thing I did to throw away a 90K, 95K a year salary that I was on. What a stupid thing to do. I walked away. Cut the bridges. I'm not very good at my metaphors. Like, what a stupid thing in hindsight. Like, who would do that? And what a stupid thing if I hadn't have. The risk that we all feel when we have to face our dreams and we're gonna go for it. If that's a risk of investment, it's a risk of saying, I want to do this, when people might tell us it won't work. The biggest risk that all of us could take in our lives is to not listen to that. Because it's still going to be there, and it's going to get louder, and it's going to get louder, and it's going to be more needed in the world. And actually, it's being selfish not to share your gifts with others when you're meant to be here serving in this way. And oh my gosh, like, it would bring tears if I allowed myself right now to think, if I had have held back from facing that fear, which I'm sure all the women today will share their own version, and hadn't taken that risk. And the reason that I wanted to bring us together as a community today is because that risk is scary. And I don't think it's possible to do alone. And I don't think it's possible to do without other women by your side saying, we're all scared, but we can do this together. I don't think it's possible to do without a mentor who's just a few steps ahead of you but's got you. I don't think it's possible to do, actually, I know it's not possible to do alone. In the coaching community, we have this independence often, where it's like, well, I'm a coach, I should be able to do this alone. I'll just work harder. I'll just like focus more. If it hasn't worked yet, it's not going to work. And again, it's not for today's teaching, but through my burnout and through the way that I learned to be an entrepreneur, I've learned that the true breakthroughs and what has brought me to a leader in my field has not come from pushing and forcing myself to work harder. It's from learning to actually work from my energy. It's from learning to be supported. It's from learning to frame myself with women around me so that I believe that this is actually going to work. And the most dangerous thing we can do is not put ourselves in those communities and be listening to the husbands, the kids, the friends, the co-workers, the bosses. And that's why I wanted us to have, you know, another group. We've done a few wonderful trainings in January, but another group together today so that we can all be surrounded. And many of you have told me in recent weeks that the reason you're not going for your dreams as a health coach is because all you see is other health coaches struggling. And like, that is your first thing that needs to be overcome, right? Because if all you see each morning when you wake up is proof of it not working, you're not going to take action. But if you wake up and you're surrounded by women who are going for it, women who are making it happen, then you can't hide anymore. And actually it gives you permission to do the same. And that's what I, hope in this real and honest conversation today. I have not plucked all the superstars who have done the best results ever in any of my programs to give you any kind of false story here. I've absolutely randomly, and I think beautifully as I look at the panel now, chosen different discussions, people from around the world, different ways that we're coaching. So how this is going to work is I'm going to go and just open up the line of one of our panelists as we go. And I don't know, I don't even have questions prepared. I'm just going to see, what comes, what I feel to ask them. But if any of you have questions, I'll try and keep an eye on the chat box. If you have a question for the specific panelists that I go to, please put your question in, I can ask. If we miss any, most of them will stay till the end. Some do have to get going, and we can always do an open panel Q&A at the end. So on that note, we're going to start with Megan. If we can unmute Megan, let's see. Why can I not unmute Megan? It might be a very quiet Q&A.
No, can you hear me?
Yay, yes, we can hear you.
I had to unmute myself because I think I had muted myself, so cool.
Got it. Megan, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I know you can't stay because you've got a busy little day ahead of you. So we're going to go to you first today. Can you introduce yourself? Let us know where in the world you are, what you're doing in your maybe what your title is. Introduce yourself how you like. Like I said, there's no agenda here today. I'll keep an eye if anyone's got specific questions for you.
Cool. Well, I think my official title is Queen of the World. No.
I like that one.
But I am halfway between Sydney and Newcastle on the New South Wales Central Coast. So that's where I am, and that's where I live and work. Work from home. I've come from a high school teaching background. So before now, I had actually been teaching virtually full-time, you would call it full-time, for the last, well, really 5 years, as a high school art teacher. I did love my job. When I first started, I completely went into teaching. My realization, like my, Golden Gate Bridge moment, as you would say, is sort of that, like, I realized that I always wanted to be a coach. And I got into a lot of self-development and personal growth work when I was quite young, like when I was 18, really. And I really loved that kind of stuff. But I was going to university and I followed my degree through and I went and got the teaching work. And it wasn't until probably about 18 months ago that I sort of sat down and realized that when I was 18, I sort of shook the university guidebook, and teaching's what just sort of like fell out, because that was really the closest I could get to what I thought I wanted to do, which was teach. And I taught what I loved, which was art. And then towards the end of my degree and towards the end of starting to work full time, I went on a really significant health journey. So I always grew up in a really large body and overweight, you would call it. And throughout a whole series of events, I lost a really significant amount of weight. And I learned a lot about my health, and I learned a lot about food, and I learned a lot about exercise. But as life sort of gives it to you, my journey didn't stop there. And losing my weight physically did me a lot of favors, and spiritually did me a lot of favors, and emotionally did me a lot of favors. But I moved away to Sydney, and I moved away from my family and friends. And I sort of woke up one day and realized I was kind of like stuck in a lot of fear. And I was completely afraid of food again, and completely afraid of having a day off my exercise. And I completely burnt myself out by over-exercising, over-dieting, and really sort of going crazy in that mentality. And that journey lasted me for probably 2 to 3 years of disordered eating habits, disordered exercise habits, disordered thinking habits, lots of disordered body image. The whole while I was still sort of trying to do some personal growth work. And eventually it all came together, and I did a lot of my own healing, and I realized that who I am as a teacher and who I am as a coach is really about helping women love their body into health rather than fear and hate their body into health. And so then last year I was working part-time as a high school teacher, not full-time. And
let me just interrupt for a minute, Megan. Yeah. I just want to check. So you went on your own health journey, and basically things were coming to you like, like not only your own realizations, but that you were meant to put that out there, like, and you were supposed to, you had this kind of calling, if you like, to help others.
Yep.
At that stage, did you do any formal training, or did you, like, where were you at? Did you go train as a health coach, or?
Yeah, so originally when I moved to Sydney, I wasn't getting enough work as a casual high school teacher, so I did my personal training certificate. I was still quite in that mode of thinking, okay, well, I'll go out and be a personal trainer and help make everyone skinny and save the world, sort of thing. But I did that formal training, and then I did some life coach training.
Yeah.
And then recently, my most recent, I did some nutritional therapy. And at the moment, I'm starting to look into studying like eating psychology and sort of those kind of things. So always learning and always doing those kinds of things. But yeah,
so
sort of like
all of those
pieces
together.
that I've pulled together.
Yeah, so your life experience, then you start getting all different qualifications, etc. So when I first met you, which is about a year ago, where were you? As in, did you know how to get clients? Did you know how to package this? Or what was going on for you about that stage before we first met? By the way, I forgot to say something to everyone, because I forgot that not everyone knows us in our community. The ladies that I've called on today are, like I said, random selection from the last couple of Upswing Masterminds which I've run. So my Upswing Mastermind is really the only way to work with me personally. We work in a group format for 6 months, and it takes you through right from beginner, having no clients, no idea basically what to do, all the strategic step-by-step to how to build your business, get clients. And ultimately our goal is to be making $5,000 a month, and along with a lot of attention from me on the coaching, the inner work, the confidence, the wealth consciousness blocks, etc. So I forgot to give that context, because I've seen a few people asking about the Upswing Mastermind. Is it running? We can talk about that at the end, but yes, these ladies have all been through that program at different times. So when I first met Megan was when she was exploring to join the Upswing Mastermind.
Yeah. Okay. And it was almost like exactly a year ago. I was thinking the other day, oh, it's my mastermind anniversary.
Love that.
And I knew that I was going into a year, 2016, I knew that I was going into a year working only part-time. So I thought, right, I've got the time, because my excuse was always the time. Okay, I've got the time, and I knew I had the passion, and I knew I could do it. But I had no idea where to start. And I thought I had an idea where to start, and now I realize that idea wasn't going to sort of really get me anywhere, or it wouldn't get me anywhere quick, or it would, how can I say this, get me somewhere, but it wouldn't last me long term. It would maybe get me a few clients, and then, well, where do I go from there?
So you felt like you probably could work some things out and get a couple of clients, but you didn't really know how to run a business or how to do that with any kind of plan.
No, I had run a business before. I had run a little art school before, but this was completely different. So yeah, I still wear one. Cool.
So a year ago, you were sitting here literally, as I know a lot of ladies are at the moment, because the Upswing Mastermind is on just one time this year, and it's about to start next week. So I know a lot of the ladies who have come today are in the exact position that you were a year ago, of going, well, I want to do this, but oh my gosh, like, I don't know. So tell us, obviously, well, first of all, was that scary for you to take that leap to actually join the program? Or was that like, because everyone's different, some people are like, no, I know I need mentorship and it's a no-brainer, I'm going to learn from the best and get the best, you know, and other people are like, whoa, I'm so scared, like, what if it doesn't work for me? Where were you at that time?
Yeah, I was scared, but I think, and one thing I've learned, and I've learned it through the mastermind, I've learned from what happens in the mastermind when all of these beautiful women come together and you learn from all of their energies. So Karen was in my mastermind, for instance, and I learned from her that, in there, and I learned that, like, yeah, I was scared, but when I'm scared, I know that's because I'm on the money. Like, I know that, okay, this is the right thing to do. If I'm not scared, I'm sort of like not interested. And if I'm not interested, why would I bother?
Let me just say, my own coach last week, some of you have heard this, but some of you haven't. My own coach last week, well, not only do we know that excitement and that kind of, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, is the same energy as fear, but my own coach last week said, like, if you haven't done something in January, she said this to me, if you haven't done something in January that's poo your pants scary, you're not on your edge. You're not moving forward. You're not growing. And like, that's kind of what I'm hearing in you. Like, it was a knowing that I've got to stretch myself. Like, you won't get the same results being the same woman you were last year. So you knew that something had to shift, and it was going to maybe be uncomfortable, but you're excited at the same time.
Yeah. And I had done some of your free trainings recently, like, a year ago, like in the January of 2016. And I got these just great gold nuggets, and I thought, wow, it made so much sense. And I thought, if I can apply that to business here from a free training, what could being in a mastermind get me? And, or where could I go from being in there? And so I talked it out, but I talked it over with my husband, but it was more like, okay, I'm going to do this, rather than, oh, can I do this, or anything like that. And so, yeah, I signed up, and I just, I guess, took a leap of faith and signed up. And yeah, I'm really, really glad that I did. Really glad that I did.
Let's do a couple of points for you along the line, because you've done the 6-month program, and then obviously there's been 6 months after as well. Whereas other ladies on the call today might just be finishing their first 6 months. You know, we're all at different levels. But for you, if you can rewind, because you've even, through my eyes and lens, come so far in the year that I'm actually struggling to even remember. You know, but if we can pull back and, you know, look at some of your early wins or experiences of the mastermind. And, you know, I do want to make sure we're going to go through everyone today. I'm sure I could ask you questions for like 2 hours, but what would you say is a key highlight for either what changed or a result? Like, was it confidence? Was it that you started getting clients? Like, was it money? Like, what was it for you when you look back in that first kind of, say, even 3 months that stands out for you?
Yeah. In the first 3 months of the mastermind, in the first 3 months of last year, what really, it was that idea of, okay, I know what to do, because I knew that I was going to be a great coach, and I knew that I knew that I could do it. I knew that I could help women in the way that I wanted to help them. But it's so scary to go into a business where you are going to ask people for money, because there's a transaction of, you want to earn an income, but like, I only have myself to offer you. It's a really scary
So it was a
thing,
realization of, oh, I was selling myself.
yeah, but then also in the mastermind, there was that really practical edge of going, okay, well, what is your product? What are you going to give people? And so the idea of going, oh, okay, when we first started to work, okay, well, what's your package? Like, what are you, are you going to give people 6 weeks of coaching, or are you going to give people 12 weeks of coaching? And what are you going to do week to week with that client? And when I could sit down and take some time and just go and nut it out and almost like write a program, so that when someone could come to me and say, oh, well, I really want to work with you. I want the energy and the weight loss and the freedom in your body that you've got, and I'm going to give you this money. What are you going to do with me? I was sort of, at the start of Mastermind, I was just like, oh, well, I'm going to coach you. And people don't know what that means. They go, well, what do you mean you're going to coach me? Because everyone's knowledge so far, it's changing a little bit now, I find, but even just a year ago, everyone's knowledge of what a coach was like their tennis coach or their netball coach, and that was a person who got them to do a few exercises and taught them how to play a game. Where
anyone who's trying to sell health coaching on this call, it will not sell. Health coaching, no one knows what it is, no one understands it. There's a context where you can explain you're a health coach. But yeah, if you're saying I'm selling coaching, it won't sell, especially if you don't even understand what your package is. And, and I'm curious, Megan, when you were going through that experience, because I'm sure everyone on this call today would have done the same, of having a bit of an airy-fairy idea, but needing a tangible package that will sell, that you know how to talk about and communicate. I'm curious, your experience in the mastermind, did you feel that you had like support from me, that I was giving like really personalized, detailed, feedback, that you could nail that you had the ladies around you? Like, from my perspective, there's just such a greater degree of success working in a group format like this than if we had like a one-on-one call for an hour or something and just one chance. What was your experience just talking about the packages breakthrough at the beginning?
Yeah, I remember one clear thing. We had beautiful Kaisa in our mastermind, so another girl from Sydney. And I'll never forget, one day we were on a group coaching call and she shared her screen and she sort of like shared her program sort of thing. And it was a 12-week program, and it was just like an outline sort of thing that she had done in a Word document. And this familiar feeling came up in me of like, oh my God, like I'll just screenshot everything that she's done and then I'll just sort of like copy it, which is terrible, like, but hear me out. So, and then afterwards in the mastermind on our Facebook group, she sort of just like dropped the document in there anyway. And she was like, oh, if anyone just wanted to have a look at it, and not to take from her program, she has a whole different target market, a whole different approach than I do. But when sometimes you're staring at a blank Word document and you think, okay, I'm going to sit down and write a program. I've got all this great stuff in my head. I've got enough knowledge to fill a 12-week program or a 6-week program with a client. How do I start? And sometimes the scariest thing and the thing that you need to do is just format a table and then just go, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3. And I was just at that point where I was like, where the hell do I start? I've got all this information.
So being able to see it from others, not only like me being able to give the feedback, and I obviously give my templates too, but you being able to see from other women who are working through the workbooks at the same time, and you're like, oh, that's how she did it. So you weren't ever really going to copy. And what I'm really hearing is there's never competition in the group. Like, everyone is.
Well, she was so willing to share it anyway. It was like, so, and I just went, oh, okay, well, this is great. Do you mind if I just, and she was like, oh, well, here it is for you. You can just like use my table anyway. And so you get this like sounding board for people for your ideas, and they share theirs, but then they don't share it in this space of, well, this is what I'm doing. you know, have a look at me, I'm so far ahead of you. It was just kind of like, here's what I'm doing.
Take it.
Start from where I've left off. And it was great.
And that's the power of a mastermind. There's no way in a one-on-one coaching experience that you could ever get that. Like in the Greatest Wealth Consciousness books, they talk about that you need a mastermind because no one person's brain could possibly do it. You need all the, like the synergy of different people. And, you know, in our upcoming mastermind, we've got doctors, we've got nutritionists, we've got people who are copywriters and PR events and workshop hosts, you know, like all these people that you'll be able to bounce with. And so Megan, I would love to like go through the whole journey. I know there's been so much. And in those first 6 months, you did start getting clients, you started making quite good money. And you also, this is my summation because I want to just snip to one piece. And you also, I think probably the most exciting thing, got brave enough and clear enough to leave your job as a teacher at the end of last year, which is a massive, massive win. I know, look at the look on your face when you come into that.
And just, can I share one thing?
Yeah.
So this, okay, I don't know, I'm only just a baby when it comes to learning about the energies of the world and tapping into that, like what's going on with like all of the women everywhere. But I'm learning about it now and I'm just loving it. It's like a brand new hobby of mine. And as I have sort of stepped into that, just going into a collective energy of women, all these beautiful women have been coming around me. And I believe that's because I put myself into the mastermind environment. And so I sort of like I've grown up in that little space. Yeah. But this week would have been the return to school, right? And I would have, had I gone back to my job for safety reasons, I would have been dreading it, just like not prepared, because I liked teaching art. Art was my first love, and I loved, you know, high school age kids. That's not the issue, but it wasn't for me anymore. I felt like I'd outgrown it. And I just want to make this one quick point about energy. So this week would have been the return to school, and I'm just looking at my calendar. Rather than being, oh, okay, I'm not working anymore, I am so full of discovery sessions. It's not funny.
That's why she's got to get off the phone, ladies.
And since the week that school would have returned, or since like the week that, you know, the schooling return sort of time, I signed up 8 clients. So I couldn't have gone to school anyway. I don't have the time.
So that was where I was going to conclude for Megan. About 10 days ago, some of the ladies who were post-mastermind did a laser coaching call together, and we did some group energy work. And Megan was what I would call when I'm group energy coaching, there's normally one person I'm coaching and everybody's getting the benefit, the side. And we went there with Megan, and it was when she would have been going back to work, and I supported her energetically just in a laser coaching. You know, no private coaching, anything, just in a group laser coaching on one particular topic. And then she just goes quiet for 10 days. And I'm like, I hope she's all right. How's she going? And then she's like, I didn't get time to tell you, but I've had 8 how many discovery sessions and how many clients in the last week?
I'm just do a quick count. It would easily be...
Yes, to work it out.
It would easily be over 10 discovery sessions booked. And 2 I haven't heard back from, or 3 I haven't heard back from, and everyone else has signed up.
Amazing. And I'm not going to go into the money because it's not about that today, but I'm pretty sure if you went and worked it out, you've made more in the last week than you would have as a teacher in your first week of 2017 or first month.
Within my first week. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Megan, again, I know we could talk forever, and I'm so excited about your journey that is really only just starting, but thank you for coming along and sharing your unique perspective on what it's been like to start growing your business. So if anyone has any particular questions for Megan, have you got like 2 minutes, Megan? If anyone has anything particular for Megan.
Yeah, I'm not even going off to anything exciting. I had to go and have root canal.
Oh, fun. But I do want to, obviously we've got a lot of ladies to get through. So anything particular for Megan? I know a lot of people are going to say, how do you get the clients? And, that'll be
Yep.
everyone's unique. I think the formula that we work through in the mastermind is a specific formula about knowing how to be seen by your clients, how to ask them to work with you, and then how to actually conduct a discovery session. Like health histories, those kind of calls don't work. So would you say that that was the formula, high level, that you took as far as getting in front of people, knowing how to
what
ask?
I found worked. Yeah. What I found worked for me and is working really well for me is I bring in what I love, and I love teaching. So I run little workshops.
Yeah.
So I'll just find a little venue. I know that it's scary. I know that you've got to find a venue, maybe book a venue, put out a little money for a venue. But I've even, I'll charge $5 or $10, $15 a ticket. So I'll make my money back for my venue, and then I'm teaching a group of women together, which is where there's that good energy, and everyone's got similar stories. And then that's what I'm doing. I was born to be a teacher, so I figure I'm just teaching something else. So a model that has worked really, really well for me is to run a little workshop, 2 hours, and then from my workshop, offer people, if you'd love half an hour with me to work one-on-one, let's do it. And then they book in and they do a discovery session from there, and it's worked a treat. It's just beautiful. I love working with women together. It's just so good.
And you just reminded me, you've let me know several times that actually how you've learned to be as a coach in those groups has been very much modeled on what you've learned in the mastermind, as far as how to bring the feminine, the masculine, and the group energy, and how to work in that way. So absolutely beautiful. Thank you. And I think that answers most of the questions. So thank you, Megan. And if you need to drop off, we know that you're going to either do discovery sessions or root canal. Neither one sounds fun, one isn't. Discovery sessions, ladies, are the way that I teach in the Upswing Mastermind to do a sales call. The connection call that you would do with a potential client. And there's a specific formula that I teach. It's actually an energetic way of connecting with people to work out if your program truly would be a benefit for them or not. And for you to know as a coach whether you would truly be able to support them. And health histories don't work. That's something that I know for sure. And that's one of the signature pieces of how I teach that I'm sure any of the ladies here today would attest to. That is a converter, to getting clients. So it's not necessarily another name for a health history. Health histories don't sell. A discovery session is a specific process, and we have a script that we go through and learn in the program. Okay, randomly, I'm going to go to Karen. Karen, I think you'll have to unmute yourself as well. Do we have you?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, hello, Karen. All right, Karen, please introduce yourself, just really briefly where you live, what you do, and then let's dive into some random questions. Oh, I'm knocking over everything.
Okay, so yes, I'm from Brisbane in Australia, and I'm an intuitive mentor. So I came into the mastermind not as a health coach, but I was attracted to Amanda's style of working in terms of working with energy, because that's what I'm all about. And I wanted a mentor that understood energy. But at the same time, I wanted a mentor who could give me the business step-by-steps to grow my business. So I'd come into my purpose, and I knew that I wanted to be a coach, and that was calling me forward strongly, but I also wanted to do it properly. I didn't want to wander around for years trying to grow my business and waste all that time when I just wanted to get right into it. And the mastermind gave me that. It gave me all the steps to follow to get this business off the ground. For me, it was the logical step for me to take. I'd come into my purpose, knew what I wanted to do. Nothing was going to hold me back except the business knowledge.
So let me be really clear on something, because I think this is important for others who might be looking at the program or looking to become a coach, even, whether or not my program. You didn't feel the need because you had done your own journey. You had, different skills. You had, you knew what you wanted to coach, and you knew you wanted to be a coach. You'd never been one, or a healer, or whatever, words you might have. And I remember us talking, you're like, do I need to go to a coaching qualification, or do I just need to learn how to make this into a business? And that's something that I can help anyone on a call with me. We can explore that. But for you, there was definitely no point. You would have been chasing qualifications for qualifications sake, right? If you'd gone and done a coaching course, you didn't need that, but you did need to know how to package that up, how to work out who you were talking to, what you would be selling, how to price it, and how to actually find clients and run a business. Is that an accurate reflection?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you came in completely like, oh, I want a business, but no idea how to do that. Tell me then, like everyone, I'm sure, some hesitations of as an investment, time, energy, money, and, will this work for me? What was your highlight of when you joined the program? You were in Megan's program as well. What are a couple of highlights that you remember, from those first few months, and what you learned, or the outcomes, I guess, that you got from joining the mastermind?
So I would have to say that getting the clarity around, getting the clarity around the target market, and then moving into how to get those clients. So once you knew who it was that you wanted to talk to, how to actually go and find them, that was really key for me, because that was the one, I guess, one of the missing pieces was, okay, yeah, now I know who I want to work with. So where am I going to find them? How do I get out there? And there are so many different ways that we learned of how to find clients, or how to get in front of clients that I wouldn't have thought of, or I may not have come across if I was doing it by myself. And one of my favorite parts was the 30-day challenge. I still revisit that 30-day challenge every so often, because it's got again that structure that you can follow to get yourself in front of clients with all those different ideas and different ways that you can put yourself out there.
Yeah,
I love that.
So she's referring to a challenge we do, 30 days, 30 different ways of getting clients, that we literally tell you what to do so that you can get out there and try it, see which one you like, see which one's resonating with you. And so the purpose of the first few months of the mastermind is not only to get clarity on target market, which, as Karen referred to, is a massive thing. I think there's a lot of talk, like buzz online, about target market, or even in health coaching schools or whatever. And we think it's like, I've got to choose a woman who's 30, who's in a corporate job with 2 kids, and that's not target market. There's a complete different lens to look through target market. But after that, it's about the program, the mastermind, is get clients, get clients, get clients, get clients. And the whole program is designed in that first half anyway around 30 at least different ways to get clients. But not only that, the plan, so you know what to get up each morning. What should I be asking myself? What should I be doing? What actions do I need to take? And it's so great to hear that you're still, using that now, because the point is that everything in the mastermind program is everything you would need for like at least 5 years of your business. All of it is there, and to keep rinsing and repeating the same system and the same formula, that's the point, really. So very cool reflection there. And what are your highlights, then, as you look over that 6-month journey that you took? Were there any particular business wins that were highlights, or anything that you feel to share, like that other women must know if they were considering joining the program for themselves?
I would say definitely I wanted to move into, I was one of those people that I think wanted to start in the online world, because I was so shy and I was terrified of getting out there in front of actual real people. And so one of the highlights was being encouraged as part of that 30-day challenge to find speaking opportunities, and which of course turned up as soon as I put my intention out there that, yep, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get out there and do my first talk. Beautiful opportunity landed in my lap, and that was definitely one of the highlights, because it was the way it played out for me meant that my first speaking opportunity was in a safe environment where I could actually just say, okay, Karen, this is your shot. You're not, you haven't put yourself in front of a room of 2,000 people, so there's no pressure to perform. You can actually now just get everything you want from this experience, this speaking experience. And yeah, put everything into it so that you've got something. It's all the whole combination of doing the mindset work together with putting the structure in place was for me super, super important.
And the reason I'm just beaming, let me just say, because, you know, we're all on video here together, right? And right now there's only the 5 or 6 of us, whereas in the mastermind, we'd all be kind of on video panel. And what I want to reflect, the reason I was just beaming, remembering your first talk, is that this is what it would be like. Karen would be on video just like she is now and kind of going, I've got this talk. Oh my gosh, I made it happen. And what am I going to say? And how am I going to do this? If you all had, I wish I was a professional TV show right now where I could just flash up the little inset of Karen at her first talk. You should have seen her. This beautiful red dress. She looked like a goddess, like the hair, the makeup, just leading on stage. And this is for you in the mastermind where you'll get the breakthroughs, where you see Karen one day, like vulnerable, going, Amanda, like, what do I do? No, this is my first talk. I've put myself out there. You know, like, how do I upsell? How am I going to be not salesy, but how am I going to get my clients? What's the structure? What's the formula? But at the same time, to have that confidence to just go like, boom, when you're out there on stage and step into it and that power, like that's what I call the 5K a month woman. And I'm not saying you're not confident now, but what I'm sharing is when we're on video like this, we remember the reality that we're all women sitting at home right now in our lounge rooms and our kitchens. And yet we're also the ones who are leading and we're the ones who are stepping onto stage. And it's both. It's not some fake reality where we're living like, you know, on stage our whole life or whatever, but it's both. And that's where as a community, someone watches Karen do that today and tomorrow they'll have the confidence to do it for themselves.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's watching other women in the group go through this and step into that place that they're wanting to step into with that support of everybody. And yeah, making your own way, because as we said, everyone's unique and everybody's going to get their clients in their own unique way, but to watch what's working for other people and then try it on for fit while you're in that group and you've got that support around you. It's awesome, because I wouldn't have done it by myself, or I may have done it by myself. I may have said, okay, Karen, you know, this is your next step, go and do it. But then I didn't have anybody that I could come back to and say, hey guys, I did it. You know, I was freaking
no accountability.
Yeah, there's one, no accountability. Two, no support in that way. Of, you know, of having, you know, or seeing other people go there, or being able to come back to the laser coaching call after I'd done my talk and said, okay, this is my reflection on the talk that I did. What could I have done differently? What would you suggest I could add in? Where did I don't want to use the words fall down. What did I leave out? That was an opportunity for me to get more clients or get these people to want to work with me.
For Karen. Yeah. And not only that, also there were ladies who were out there that you could follow up with. Like, you know, it's not just one talk in the end. How to leverage that, how to get people to keep nurturing them ongoing, etc. Now, Karen, again, you know, I could just talk forever on all of your journeys. It's such a joy for me to reconnect with you all and see where you've come. And let's just have a look, because something when you said, you know, I probably could have worked it out myself, something jumps to mind for me of, so you went, let's just look at your arc. I always look at like the 6-month arc of the program. So you went at the beginning from this idea of being a coach. You had no coaching qualifications, but you had like the intuitive skills and you knew what you wanted to bring out as a healer. We went through the structured business program, etc., the energy work as well. Tell me, your last month was a big win. I think it was the last month, because we could look at all your wins, but let's just share that last month, income, client-wise, etc. Where were you at the end of 6 months from complete scratch and nothing in place? What happened in the last month of the mastermind in your business?
So in the last month of the mastermind, that was my month that I almost hit 10K, where I had come to, I'd come to a place where
I just looked along the panel and everyone went, so easy to take for granted now, right?
It is, because you go through the motions of, you know, you have this idea, I guess, where, and I'm going to be transparent here, where you step into the mastermind and you think that within the first month you're going to be making 5K, and there are people that do. So when you aren't, you're having that little wobble. And it was, for me, I was kind of having that, this is, you know, I was determined that I was going to be one of those people. I was going to be a success story. And sort of as it was coming through, I kept following the steps and kept doing the work. And by the 6th month, I guess just before the 6th month, I was probably still thinking, well, I don't, you know, I'm not sure if I can do this. And of course,
not making, yeah,
that was it. Yeah, I had my clients, and I was, yeah, and it was literally in that last month that suddenly all the pieces came together for me. It's that combination of you having built your confidence because you've had your few clients. So it's not about, I just want to get the money. It's about once you've got that confidence and you're conditioning your brain to believe that you can do it, and you are a coach and you are the 5K woman, it starts to actually then fall in for you. So when the 6th month came, suddenly it did. I think what happened for me was I had a nudge to, I was avoiding video. I didn't want to get in front of, you know, out there in the public, in front of people. And I had a strong nudge. I was on my way to pick my kids up from school, and something said, just get a video up on Facebook. And so I did. And I just rushed out the door before I could delete it. And and it was after that video had almost 1,000 views. And suddenly I had 2 women ring me within a few days of watching that video, and I had a 3rd woman ring me, and that was what happened. And it was those 3 discovery sessions resulted in 3 clients, and then I had supplemental income from my other business that I was actually winding down because I was starting to make more money. You know, the coaching was starting to be able to, you know, take over the other business. So yeah, and that was it. And almost 10K.
Yeah, amazing. Do you know what, you're making me reflect on something that I was just thinking of this morning in my own life. Some of you who were following the business trainings earlier and know that I shared, I was so excited because after having years of a neck injury, along with the adrenal fatigue, like that, I started running in January. And that was a big milestone for me. But let me just share with you a little bit, because it reminds me of getting clients. Is 8 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, I went to a physio, and I had been struggling to get on top of my physical health because of an injury that happened when I was 17. And so then I wasn't exercising, and the adrenal fatigue was adding into it. And I went 6 months ago, I was like, I'm serious, I want this changed. I'm now dedicated. Because how many times do we dip our toe in and we go to see a coach, whether it's for business or health or something, we go 1 or 2 times and we're like, oh, it wasn't magically fixed overnight, and we pull out. And I'd done that for years and years. I'd gone to chiropractors, I'd gone to energy healers, I'd gone to whatever it was. And because I wasn't fixed, within a few weeks, I started going, oh my God, it's costing me all this money. Oh my God, it's not working. I'm in more pain than ever. I can't exercise, and I'd retreat. This time I went to this physio and I said, you know, I'm in this until it's turned around. And at the time she said to me, great, well, we hope to get you results within about 2 months, but we'll see. And so I went and I started going religiously, week after week and after week. And my husband's been to a lot of physios with sports injuries, and he said the number one thing you do is you follow the coaching. It doesn't matter what she says, you go home and do it. And you've got to do the exercises or there's no point. And so I did, week after week. I went to the physio, or sometimes every second week, and I got the coaching. And I got the coaching, and we'd start to go forward, and then it would all go back. You know, I'd lift my exercise, start running, and the whole thing would, I'd be in a lot of pain, sometimes up to a week. But I kept going, and I kept following the coaching, and I kept following the coaching. And by January, I could start to run again. And when I went in just a few days ago, again, I keep getting these emotional waves today. Like, she's like, you have a complete, like, this might as well be a new spine that I'm looking at here today. She said, your spine has completely reworked itself. I mean, that's energetically as well, I believe. But she's like, you stuck to the coaching, you did it. You didn't let the mind get in the way when you weren't getting the results in the first month. You kept showing up, you kept showing up. And just like Karen, she trusted the formula, she kept going. And sometimes we go along and then we get this like, shoo. And you've got to have faith, and you've got to trust the coach to keep taking you through a process that works. And ladies have been asking me, like, why do some people get results? You know, this mastermind gets very high results, but they said, of course, there's always going to be a handful of people who don't. Why would that be? And the only people I can think of who don't get clients are the ones who don't stay committed to doing the work that I've suggested and pull themselves out of the game or don't show up. It's foolproof if you keep going.
It is. And one of the big realizations for me was consistency, and the realization that this is not about how am I going to get that first client, how am I going to make my first 5K, do all the steps to get there and then go, okay, I've done it. It's do all the steps to get there. And as you say, Amanda, rinse and repeat. It doesn't ever stop. So when you're making this commitment to your business, this is what you are going to be doing for the rest of your days in your business. When you've decided, I've got the chills, when you've decided that this is what you want to do and this is your calling and this is where you're going, you show up and you keep going. And I think that is to do it for 6 months with those other beautiful women around you is what's actually going to set it kind of what I'm thinking, like cast it in stone, but you know what I'm saying, like it's going to actually solidify it or lock it in, because you can do it for a month and as you say, when that momentum slows down or when you get self-doubt comes in, it's easy to just not do anything. And then you look at your results and go, nothing's happening. But it's because you're not being consistent and you're not showing up.
And that's why to join something like the mastermind, it's a commitment. It's a commitment to yourself. It's a commitment. It's my commitment. You know, people ask me why I only run it once or twice a year. And this year it's only once, because it's a big commitment from me too, to be there for all of you for 6 months, twice a week, if not 3 times a week. My whole attention, my team's whole attention is there for you. We're committed. And you need to be committed. And that's why it is scary for many of us to face that we're going to actually have to do the work. Most of us are more scared of trying and failing, so we don't even try. We're so scared of what if I try and I fail? But the thing is, you can't if you show up. And I'm sure we can see the nods along the panel as I say that. Like, if you show up, you can't fail. It's our own fear of our own self. And every time I put the mastermind on sale, the first 10 people, 15, 20 people in the door, I 100% swear this is what comes out of their mouth. I watched you a year ago and I thought I could do it myself. I've been waiting. I don't even need to talk to you. Please get me in. I guarantee people wait, because this is that stubbornness I talked about before, that we feel like we should be able to do it ourselves. We should be more disciplined. But if you don't have the structure, you don't have the plan to follow every day, you don't have the group of women by you, you're in the energy, you don't have like a really strong mentor support who can hold you, give mirroring, give honest feedback and help you break through, then I would say it's near impossible. And I see it time and time again. So for those of you who might be thinking about the program, this is the only time this year, maybe not even beginning, maybe not till late 2018, I'm not sure. And like, if you're serious about this, the money should not be the consideration, because as many of these ladies, probably these ladies on the call will attest, like the money will more than come back. This is your training for life. And how much money are you leaving on the table right now because you don't know how to get clients or you're not showing up to do the work is probably far and beyond. So really looking at that honest truth that most of us are more scared of actually committing and doing it, and maybe even scared of our own success sometimes. So it's easier just to kind of have these stories of why, it's not the right time for me, or I don't have the money right yet. It's like, really? Because you could have it next week or next month or next, and there is a certain amount of skin in the game that we need to put ourselves to commit to a life change. And it is a life change for all of us, I think, on this call. And the hundreds of women who have gone through the program would attest that it's an absolute life-changing journey. You can't get on this train and not have transformation.
No, that's right. That's right. It is what, decide that you're going to do it and then commit to it. Use that time, use that 6 months to get everything out of it that you can. And that's the commitment I made to myself, and especially with that 30-day challenge. There were things in that challenge that I didn't want to do and I didn't want to face, but I had to remind myself that, Karen, this is your calling and this is where you're going, and you wanted this. You wanted all this information. You asked for it. So you don't ask for it and then have somebody give it all to you and give you all the steps and show you all, the ways to do it, and then go, oh no, I'm not going to do that. This is your opportunity during these 6 months to really, really do yourself that favor. get it all out of the way, because you won't do it when you're on your own. You won't. It's too easy for the fear to say, you know, no, I won't go and give a talk. I know when I was a little child, I used to do speech and drama, and I used to stand up in front of people at our Stedfords without any fear and do all this public speaking, and I'd forgotten about it. And when I came back to the mastermind and we had to give this talk and my fear just came up, it was after I'd given that talk, I realized, oh my goodness, you'd been prepped for that in your early years. This is part of your journey. This is going to play a big part in your life going forward. You'd forgotten about it, and maybe it never would have come up again, or maybe it would have nudged me and I would have gone, no, it's too scary for me, I'm not going to do it. But
opportunities come up in our life all the time, and when they're there, there's an opening, and there's no right or wrong. You know, it's not that you have to take every opening that comes, but many times in my life, in my career, I have done that. It's not the right time, and the opportunity hasn't come back. And, you know, I don't say that as any kind of scarcity for any, or fear mongering for anyone on this call, but for me right now, it's not in my plans. If I picked up my business plan and showed you right now, it's not my plans again for this year or next. I'm not saying that won't change, because sometimes it does, but it's very unlikely. And the opening is here right now. You know, if you're even being called to this work right now, you're feeling the changes in yourself, you're feeling the changes in the world. It's kind of like the car, you know, I see the trains in the station right now, and that's something to consider for all of us to really max out, because if you don't take this path right now, like, consider the other path and where you're going to be, you know, 18 months later. Is it really where this bigger dream? We started today's call about dreaming bigger, thinking even beyond what we might have dreamt for ourselves. And Karen, I know you're already well on that track now. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And if anyone has any specific questions for Karen, put them in the chat box, but I am going to keep moving along the panel. Because I know everyone has so much to share with you all, and you know, everyone's time is valuable. So I'm going to go to Shonda next. Shonda, can you unmute yourself? Again, I don't seem to be able to do it for you.
Okay, I think I did it.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Very, very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Right, now Shonda, the reason I felt to go to you next was actually because the last two ladies have talked about doing workshops. And I feel like when I think of a couple of things that you've done, they've actually come from more the online side in the last few months. So Shonda is just graduated last week. So she's in the most recent round that we did in 2016 of the Upswing Mastermind. So newer to her journey than the two ladies that we've already heard. So Shonda, do you want to tell me a little bit about where you were sitting only 6 months ago when considering to join the Mastermind, where you were in your business? You know, did you have formal qualifications, or were you more like Karen, where you had like different modalities that you wanted to learn how to package up? Tell me a little bit where you were and what you were looking for, I guess.
Right. Well, I had only just started my health coaching school. I was only 2 months in. And honestly, even just a few months before I started the school, I had no idea what a health coach was. I had no idea about any of this. I just came upon it through my own journey. We all have our own journeys. And through some health crisis that my husband had and my daughter, I just came upon health coaching as something that I knew that I was supposed to do. And honestly, I was sitting on my couch right over there, just scrolling through Facebook, I guess. And I just started the health coaching school and several other things also. Everything sort of happened at once. And I saw an ad for you, and I thought, oh, I'll click on that. And I started watching your YouTubes, and I was binge watching Amanda Jane Daily for hours at a time. And I did that for about a week. And then I realized, oh, this woman has a program, and it was the Upswing Mastermind. And I just knew, like, it just hit me, I'm supposed to do this. I really had no clue about, you know, business at all. And I was concerned that I was only just 2 months into my health coaching program, and I wasn't sure if you would accept me because of that. And but I just knew, I knew that you had something that I needed, and I just felt it in my heart. So, yeah, that's kind of where.
Yeah, and great point. I mean, we've seen a couple of variations of people who had different training. You know, a lot of people assume that you have to have taken one training course. Like, everyone seems to think you have to have done the IIN health coaching training course and then come to my course, which is not the case. You know, a lot of my clients have taken that course and found that, you know, they still don't know how to get clients, and this is naturally the next progression. But as we've heard so far, I mean, Megan had done different qualifications, Karen had done no qualifications, and Shonda had done, you know, some energy healing qualifications and was just 2 months into her health coaching course. So you know, just to give that, because I know a lot of people share that with me, they think they're meant to be a qualified health coach before they start. And also, just while I think about it, a lot of people, and I want to share this for anyone watching the call today, I know that it's easy for me to sit here, or you think it's easy for me to sit here and go, oh, my life looks like this today. And you're like, yeah, that's fine for you. And there's even another layer down. Even the ladies I'm introducing you to today, because they're only a little way along their journey, I've been hearing from some of you that you actually think that they're the ones who have got it lucky. So you're like, oh, it's easy for them. And look at the looks on their faces when I say that. They're like laughing, because the point, and they're like, oh, people are saying to me, oh, well, I don't have clients like Megan does, or I don't already make money like Amanda does. They didn't either 6 months ago. Like Shonda, you know, like, no clue. That is why we've created the program. So when you see these ladies sharing their outcomes, we're all sharing it so that you know that we're where you were as well. That's the point, you know, and it's not to go look at us and look what's possible, although it is what's possible, but it's really to show that we all need to learn. You know, these are missing pieces that aren't taught, and that there's more to learn. That was part of my breakthrough. I was blaming myself and thinking the health coaching training wasn't working for me. And then I realized there was more to learn. It wasn't personal. I just hadn't learnt it. So Shonda, we'll go back to you. So just starting your health coaching training, and we did discuss it. Anyone who's early in their training, I talk to everyone and check if you're a right fit. And yes, I do kindly say to some people if it's not right for them as well. But we did decide that it was a really good fit for you. So tell me, what, from having no idea at all, like you hadn't even, you know, you dabbled in some of the business training, the free trainings, but of course that's, you know, we've talked to Karen about that. It's never going to be enough to hold you accountable, get the breakthroughs, etc. What are your highlights from your early days in the journey in the mastermind? Or any pieces that you feel that you want other women to know if considering, you know, starting to grow their business? And of course, it's not just about joining my mastermind. However, you know, as a health coach, I don't know of any other training out there like this that is getting the results like this specifically for the health industry and for healers. So, you know, speaking to women who are looking at this, who might be sitting there going, I'm really early, you know, I don't know if I can really get clients, any self-confidence pieces. I don't know. What can you share with others, about yourself and your journey?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I was so clueless, and we had talked on a laser call about doing just the discovery sessions, the sales calls, and you had given us a script. And so I put it out there on Facebook, and I literally had 10 people book a discovery call in like just a few days, really. So in 1 week I had 10 calls.
Yeah.
And I remember
right at the beginning.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was the first month.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on and I had just had oral surgery. I just had my wisdom teeth out, I remember. And I got on the laser call and said, okay, I did this. I have all these people signed up and I don't know what to do. And so you did a quick discovery call coaching session with me.
And can I just stop there for a second? That's a beautiful example of how the mastermind works. We have a 6-month structured curriculum, but we also have group laser coaching calls where we come on video, kind of like this, and I coach you all. And anything goes on those calls. So if Shonda needs to learn how to do discovery sessions this week because she's got 10 calls booked and she's like, I don't know what to do with them, it doesn't matter if that's not until month 3 or 2, whatever it is. I'll teach it then. And think about that not only for yourself, getting that personalized training, whatever you need each week, but you're learning from all the other women who are doing the same. There is no way in a private coaching capacity that you would ever be able to learn so much in such a short amount of time, but not even learn it, integrate it. And one other thing I want to say, Shonda, is I see in my Facebook group, I often give that script, a dumbed down version of it, free to my public communities. And time and again, I see people put it out there and then come into the group after trying it once and saying, the script doesn't work. And then other ladies will come in and go, yeah, for health coaches, it doesn't work. No. And what a different experience than being in a group and watching women who are going, you know what, I took the coaching, I made the tweaks you said, I put it out several times. I got 10 discovery calls actually when I put it out. How is all of us are learning to believe what we see? And all of you right here today have the choice of who you surround yourself with for the next 6 months, for the next 12 months, whatever that might be. Your brain is going to look for the evidence and the proof. If you're in a free accountability group that you set up with your buddies on the side of, you know, people wanting to grow business, you're going to find people who are struggling, and it's going to seep into your brain that it's hard, that it's struggling, people are struggling, it's not working. Whereas if you, in your month one, and Shonda was brand new, have someone get on a discovery call one day and go, I don't know what to do, and I give some coaching to put a script out on how to do it, and the next day she comes back and is like, I booked 10 discovery sessions, what do I do? It worked. That's your new normal. That's what you're literally programming into yourselves. And this is why I say it's like a train. The journey you get on, if you choose to get on, it might seem like a 2-degree decision today, but where you end up is going to be vastly different, because you are literally reprogramming yourself by who you surround yourself with, what you believe, and what you allow yourself to be coached on as well. So back to your story. Sorry, there's a few things I felt to share there. So yeah, you did that and you started going out. So what are your, early days of your business? What are some of the other highlights or learnings that you'd like to share?
Yeah, a few others. Well, of course, getting those first 3 clients early on from those discovery sessions.
So actually. Month one, you're 2 months into your training, feel like you know nothing, put out 1 script, 10 discovery sessions, 3 3 clients. Awesome.
Yeah. And just doing that and the confidence that came with that was amazing. And that's what really, I started to really feel like, oh, hey, I'm a coach. I can do this. And of course, all of the, the support and the friends in the mastermind just cheering me on, and that was awesome. And then there was another really interesting highlight for me, and that it's a lot to do with the self-development that I received through the program. Mm-hmm. And that was that I'm very introverted. I'm a really quiet person and a little bit meek, I would say. Mm-hmm. And you told me, don't worry, I know, Shonda, that you think that you're being too salesy or too forceful, but you're not. It's okay. So I just, kind of gathered my courage, and I put some things out on Facebook that was very, very vulnerable of me. And I had a before and after picture that I shared in a group, a very large private group. And I had over, I think total like 2,000 likes and comments on this picture. And I realized, it was
so an example here of social media, right? Shonda's not out doing the workshops, and I just want to say, someone asked, did you have a big Facebook following? None of these ladies had anything
Zero.
When they started. Zero. Shonda just said she put it in front of a big group. That's because we, through the target market work, worked out where she would post in other groups or other places that were relevant. All of these ladies had nothing when they started, and Shonda especially, nothing. So let's make that really clear. To get those 10 discovery sessions, 3 paying clients in the first month, nothing. You don't need, and I know that people are starting to jump to asking people about their websites and all that kind of thing, which is great. And some people often ask, oh, your clients have great websites. Like, yes, we have a lady who helps. She knows my formula. It costs only about $500. Don't go spend thousands elsewhere on a website. Spend it on your business training and we'll get you sorted. But you don't need a website, a blog, even social media to be getting these results in the early days. And if you haven't seen my other trainings, that's the biggest place that people go wrong. is spending money, hiding behind the computer, trying to build a website, trying to build social media. What Shonda's talking about here, she had nothing at all. So really, really important point. Please carry on.
Yeah. So that was great. And yeah, I had absolutely nothing. And so just kind of, it opened my eyes that I can just share my story, and that would create a connection with my audience. And I was able to really understand who my audience was. And from that, you know, I've had several more clients, and it's been amazing. And I just feel like the confidence, and that's what, you know, I didn't have at all. I didn't, you know, I had nothing. But the confidence that I was able to gain has done so much. And of course that carries through to my coaching. And so then I can help others in a more confident way, and to really give them what they need, which is what I want to do, right?
Yeah, beautiful. So still very early in your journey, you know, with the studies and everything, but getting, you know, one post, which you shared with me actually, that you felt safe to be vulnerable because you kind of learnt that from showing up in the group each week with the woman, and feeling safe to be vulnerable, safe to share your truth of where you're at, so that I could coach you, so that other women could support you, led to that, you know, slowly but surely, and putting out, and, you know, over 2,000 comments and likes on a photo of yourself just by having the bravery and the courage to put yourself out there, are these things that I think so many of us know we need to do or want to do, but we are scared, and it is scary. You know, Karen shared that with putting her first video out. We're all scared. You know, we really are. I remember my first coach telling me, I just put video on Facebook. I couldn't bring myself to do it, you know, and so just beautiful to see the flow that comes when you've got the system as well of knowing what to do. You had nothing. So once you had the system of knowing how to put yourself out there, how to ask for discovery sessions, then like our quick laser coaching on Better quickly teach you how to do discovery sessions, and to convert them, you know, to paying clients in the first month, and what's obviously unfolded beyond. I think what I sit here right now so proud of you though really is mostly for your confidence that's come through, your courageousness, and how you are, what you've learned and soaked up through the first 6 months of working together is already impacting your clients. And we're seeing that in the Facebook group of the results your clients are now getting. And by the way, also, it's not all roses and whatever, you know, like laser coaching is for you to come to me as well as you have been and others have been, and going, oh my God, what do I do? This client is saying this to me. All of a sudden this client's pushing me on because she wants me to coach this way, or why aren't I doing this for her? And what do I do? Like, these questions, would you agree that you've had questions pretty much 24/7 for the last 6 months? Like new questions pop up.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, all the time. And I keep a list actually. And I'm able to, you know, ask you in either the Facebook group or on the laser calls. And it's been so helpful. And often though, my question, I mean, this happens for everybody. My question gets answered by somebody else asking that same question, or, you know, similar in the laser calls, or
So
even in the
come with a question. Yeah, so you come with a question, or you've got your paper, and then you put it in the Facebook group or the laser coach, and you're like, oh, someone else asked that too. And that means that you thought it was maybe just you or something, you know, and then you realize, oh, we're all in this together.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I love that support.
Yeah,
it's the best, and it really helps, you know, because you feel alone. And here we are, you know, we're working not in an office with other people, and sometimes it's a little lonely, and, you know, you need to be on, and, you know, the coach. And so it's nice to have that support and just feel like you're not alone. So I love that part of it too.
You and I actually had a conversation about that recently. Like, as coaches, again, we were talking before about needing to be independent and should be able to do it ourselves. Like, as coaches, we need to be supported. I would never have grown my business to where I am today if I don't have multiple coaches on my team at all times. Never. We need to be supported as women. We can't work it all out ourselves. How can we know what needs to be done as we grow and as our next steps? You know, those who have shared, that have told me they've gone off, or they made their own accountability group, or they thought they could do it themselves. Who are you learning from? You need those, when you're getting those answers that come, the questions that come up 24/7, You want them from someone who's done it. You want them from someone who's grounded in that level of their business and on to the next. So without any doubt, it's not a conversation of maybe we could try this, or maybe, like, invest in the highest guidance you can get, because our energy is precious. What we're learning is precious. Our brain is precious. And like I said, it's that 2-degree shift in the path we're going. Tony Robbins always says that, like, you find the best and the best in your industry and you learn from them and no one else. And I like to think that that's what we've created here, because I've seen time and time again, you know, what happens when we're allowing ourselves to be surrounded by people who are trying to work it out along the way. And we're all trying to work it out. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's not like there's just one thing that will work for all of you, but to allow yourself to come along, be coached, be surrounded by people that 24/7, you're not waiting weeks to get answer to one question. You're waiting minutes probably, because the questions, once you get in the flow of moving forward, it's like, now what do I do? Oh my gosh, yesterday I needed to know how to get clients. Now I need to know how to convert them into sale. Like, what do I do? Put up my hand. Do you know what I mean? And that's where we're all together. Literally, it's an immersion for 6 months. So I'm very excited to see what comes through for you in the next 6 months. And I know things are really only just getting started, but such a wonderful start, Shonda. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Okay.
Amanda, I think you're muted, and I think I'm not.
Is that better? Who muted me? Jamie, can you unmute yourself? I was saying we'll go to Jamie and then Amanda, and we'll wrap up shortly. How's that? No. That sounds better. Maybe? No. It shows that it's unmuted my end for you, Jamie. Yes, there will be a replay, Jessica, so you can come back and listen to Shonda's story. But if anyone has a question for Shonda, and I love that Shonda, just while we're getting Jamie sorted with some sound, I love that Shonda talked about being an introvert, because a lot of people get on my calls and go, oh my gosh, I wish I was so confident and on video and all these things like you. Like, I'm seriously the biggest introvert there is. Take me to a party, I'll just stand in the corner. And there's lots of learnings from that. I'm sure any of the ladies would agree that just me on the laser coaching calls, I don't hold back. I don't sit there and pretend to be like some guru and like follow me and everyone's agreeing here. It's like I share what's going on for me. I share where I've fallen down. I've shared the mistakes that I've made along the way. I've shared the learnings. I've shared how hard it is, even as an introvert, to get myself out there or break through. And that's what allows you all to see that I'm just like you. I've had to go through it. I'm only a few steps ahead, I promise. It's not like I came out of like some magical, I don't know, and like as a model and a celebrity, and like I had to struggle too with the body issues to be a health coach, and which a lot of, we haven't talked about today, but a lot of us have, like, of having to look a certain way, or maybe you think you have to be in certain sickness to overcome it, to like all these things that we have and we think it's just us. I'm just like you, and I'll share all of that in an intimate setting. And equally, as an introvert, doesn't mean you can't lead, doesn't mean you can't shine, doesn't mean, there's really a lot of a conversation around that. So thank you for bringing that up, Shonda. Jamie, do we have any sound? I would hate for you to have sat here waiting to share and we can't hear you. Okay, we'll go to Amanda. Tash, can you see if you can help Jamie? I want to make sure that we do share some of Jamie's story here today. Even if she can't, I might have to paraphrase, and she might have to kind of like thumbs up and thumbs down, because I want everyone to hear Jamie's story, because I'll give you a little snippet wine, so you'll hold on and listen to Jamie's story when we come back to it. Is I want everyone to know that this isn't just like a, hey, join my program and overnight success, because it's not. We all have our own journeys, and a lot of us have our own health journeys. And Jamie may or may not want to go into certain degrees of that. But when I say not everyone gets their first clients in the beginning, like Jamie's one of them. And I want her to share, whatever she's comfortable with in that, and sharing with you all. Actually, yeah, in my life, I didn't even get my first clients, and here's why. And here's what I've learned, and here's what I'm doing now, and here's what I am doing, a year later. And so I'd love to hear that through Jamie's words, not mine, but let's see, because I don't know how to get Jamie on audio right now. So Tash, can you please see if there's anything you can do to help Jamie? And let's go to Amanda. Amanda, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, fine.
Great.
All right, so then, Amanda, hopefully not lucky last, hopefully we'll get Jamie back in a minute, but let's, first of all, so you're in the UK, in London?
I am, yeah.
And I just want to say, I know I wrote this in my newsletter, I put it in my group the other day, but still I'm getting messages from people telling me every day that the reason that they can't do the mastermind is because health coaching won't work in their country. And it doesn't matter who I talk to, every single person gives me the story, whether it's health coaching doesn't work in the UK yet, or it's not popular, or in Europe, or in Germany, or in France, or in South Africa, or in New Zealand, or I get the opposite. It's too crowded in Australia. No one will, I'm the last one, I'm too late. It's too crowded in New York, it's too crowded in LA. And if there's one story that we nip like energetically clear at the beginning of the mastermind, it's that it won't work for you, or that it won't work in your country or your state or your town or your streets. Because I've heard it all, and I hear it on every single lady I speak to gives me a variation of that. So don't worry if you feel that way. I'm not kind of telling you off. I'm saying we all do it. I thought that my business wouldn't be successful because I knew a lot of people already coaching, and I thought it was too late. And that was years ago. So, okay, felt to say that because you're in the UK. Amanda, yes. Can you share with us where you were? So Amanda also just graduated last week from the 2016 Upswing Mastermind. Share with us all today where you were in your business when you joined the Mastermind 6 months ago. You know, had you just found my work? Had you been following along? What was kind of your journey behind the scenes?
Well, I'd been following you for a couple of years. I graduated from my health coaching school in, I think, March 2016. And I was one of the people that had seen the mastermind twice before and didn't follow through in actually signing up for all sorts of reasons. And so when I spoke to you, I was ready. But I was at a stage in my business where this was like, if this didn't work, I wasn't going to give up because I'm not a quitter, but I was like, this has to work. Otherwise, I just don't know what else I can do. That's really where I was at with my business. I'd had like some success with things, but not with getting clients, not with getting discovery sessions, not with kind of learning how to convert sessions into paying clients, none of that. And I did not have the money. And I really mean that to pay for
to join the program.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would go as far as saying that, like, I don't think anyone could have had less money than me at the time, because I literally signed up for the mastermind not knowing how I was going to make the payments from month to month, but I just knew that I absolutely had to do it.
So what gave you that courage to do that? Because I see a lot of women feeling like that. And how I want to frame it, what I think we do as women is we go into the fair. I mean, you all know I'm a wealth coach, so I can talk for hours about money and what our beliefs around money do, etc. But let's just really, I'll try and be succinct on what I see, is that we know we want something. We've got a dream. We have a knowing inside ourselves that we are meant to be getting this work out there, and it's there, and we hear it. We probably hear it in our meditations, or we hear it when we see something that inspires us. You're even showing up on a call like this. Like, there's something, most people in the world aren't here today, by the way. You know, so you feel called to this work. So there's a knowing, but the minute money comes in, it shuts down. Because money is an instant, like, well, I don't have the money, so I can't do it. It's a black and white thing that we've been taught. What we seem to forget in that process where we go into fear about investment, we forget that the point of joining a program like this is to make money. And how much money had you probably left on the table, for example, in that 2 years before where you were in fear?
Yeah, thousands.
Like, maybe we'll do that, you know, calculation later. It might be interesting. That would be confronting, I think.
Right, yeah.
Like I said, like, I was holding on to what I thought was a very amazing $95,000 job a few years ago. Like, I was holding on to that as I thought I would never make that more money. And now my business makes, you know, very high 6 figures a year. Yes, not all of that's my salary. Yes, I pay my team and all those kind of things. But I was holding on to the smaller story because I didn't even dream that it could get bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what I think we all do. We hold on to where we are now And we're like, I can't pay it through the lens I'm in now because I'm not making money, forgetting that the point is that you're learning the tools to make the money. And like, for example, the payment plan we've got on for the next mastermind, you'd only have to get one client every 2 months to pay it off. And if you come in with the mindset thinking that you wouldn't even get a client every 2 months, then you're actually not coming into the program with the right mindset, because you're meant to come in going, I want the tools because I want to know how to make money. And for some reason, when the word money comes in, money actually has, for most of us, a fair frequency, whereas we want it to be a love frequency, undertoned, where we go in the mastermind. But when we bring that in, we shut off our dreams and we don't even let ourselves learn the skills to make it, because we don't even believe it's possible, or we've learned from other people that it won't work. And so it's this crazy point that we get to in the middle where we're so scared to invest, whereas it might only be a few weeks away where you've made the money. So I'm kind of paraphrasing what I see so many ladies sitting in. Is that how you were feeling?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I was just terrified of, I mean, I knew that I had to, I think I even signed up to talk to you, the mastermind, before, and then cancelled my application because I was like, I can't do this. And when I did talk to you, I was very much on the fence. But after speaking to you, I just knew I had to do it. And I had basically decided that, you know, where you had told me money comes for a purpose, and that was a new concept for me. So I decided, okay, I'm going to put it out there. If I'm meant to do this, I need the first payment for the mastermind in 24 hours. And I had no way of getting it apart from it coming from an external source. So I put it out there, and in 24 hours, I got the first payment. And I thought, well, if I can, that's all I'm going to trust for. If I can get the first payment, then I'm going to trust for the other payments. And just so like the other ladies know, I had no like backup plan. It's like I had to make the money, but I wasn't coming from a place of desperation. I was like, when that first whatever it was came in, I was like, okay, I can believe for the rest. And before we even started the mastermind, I did the pre-training with you. I think I had about £3,000 come in, but just because you had taught us how to get our channels open, you know, and so I started getting tax rebates and refunds, and you know, I was like, okay, I haven't even started learning how to get clients yet, and you know, I was sharing that with you, and you were like, yeah, this happens quite often, but for me, it was like I hadn't seen that type of money in a long time.
I've got printouts on my desk, literally right here, of ladies who signed up early for the mastermind this time and got the same training. Which is the 10 steps to 5K month training that I give a bonus for people who sign up early. I have papers sitting right here of the same stories of people getting their first clients or money just coming in. Now, it's not all of it. I'm not saying we're sitting here to learn to be woo-woo and, you know, just money's going to drop in, but that is a part of it. And it sounds to me like if anyone could shortcut their experience, which is what I hope that all of us can help anyone looking to get into this game do, is learn from our mistakes and our journey. If I was to mirror to Amanda, what I believe happened is that it took her 2 years to realize that the nagging wasn't going to go away and that the knowing wasn't going to go away, and to realize it wasn't personal, that she just hadn't been taught the steps that she needed.
Yeah.
And to know, like, I'm meant to do this work. And at some stage I'm going to have to trust it because it's not going to go away. And it's that word trust and the faith. And we all have fear, and you had fear even at that time, but at the same time, you allowed the trust to come in.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So give me a snapshot then of highlights of the first couple of months of the mastermind once you did get in, knowing where you came in from wasn't the best place.
It was a bit of a whirlwind. I just had expectations that I would hopefully be able to make the payments each month. And yeah, I think within the first 2 months, I'd had 6 or 7 discovery sessions, and I hadn't had one in about 6 months prior. I'd had one paying client before the mastermind, and then some free clients. So yeah, I mean, in the first 10 weeks, I made $10,000. And I still laugh saying that because it's just like, I never thought I would be that person. And I think that so much of that happened, like all the other ladies have said, just because of the energy of the group. And I had the same belief of like, can you really make money as a health coach in the UK?
You've been trying. So for 18 months,
right.
trying to get clients.
Right.
But you told me you'd had 3 discovery sessions total in 18
Yes.
months and 1
Yes.
client.
Right. And now I've had, and yeah, then I had 10 in the space of about 4 months.
So the first 10 weeks of the mastermind, after going from complete fear, having no money in the bank, $10,000 had come to you in the first 10 weeks.
Right. Yeah. And 4
Let's just
clients.
and feel that. Yeah. And your clients, you were charging for some of them 2-3 times what you were previously as well.
All of them. Yeah.
All of them. Okay. Let's just feel that truth for a second. And even as a community, I want us to get this. What was missing was knowing how. The structured plan. You'd been trying by yourself. You had invested in other business trainings which weren't working for you.
Yes.
You needed the structured training. You needed the breakthrough of the energy side of the money side, which is the wealth consciousness. I'm a wealth consciousness coach as well, and I work at an energetic level. And I do this in a group format for a reason. Amanda almost didn't sign up with me because she really wanted one-on-one attention, because she thought that would be the highest way to work with me. You shared you were looking for the best in your field. Tony Robbins had said, you know, you've got to work with the best. You'd found me, you know, you're like, you're the best in the field. For health coaches, I only want to work with you one-on-one. And that wasn't an option.
Yeah.
Because in my highest integrity of everything I know, one-on-one coaching for beginners is not the best experience. No. There is no way in the mastermind you get 60 minutes of business training a week that has not been taught to you anywhere else. You couldn't get that in one-on-one coaching. Even with the one-on-one coaching experience, you wouldn't get the energy work, the wealth consciousness work that we do as a group. And you're in the UK, and for that last round, we didn't even have as many laser coaching calls always in your time zone, but you still got the breakthroughs, and you still got like massive attention on the calls where you were there. And tell me a little bit about that, because you were quite determined. The reason you almost didn't sign up is because you wanted one-on-one coaching. So what's your thought now on the mastermind versus one-on-one?
Oh God, I'm so glad that you've done it that way, because the group dynamics was my biggest breakthrough. The laser coaching, the structured business coaching was amazing, but the reason I got so many breakthroughs was seeing the other women get their breakthroughs and realizing that we are the same. And if, you know, Shonda can get 10 discovery sessions in like a week, why can't I? Like, we're no different. And so my breakthroughs came through seeing theirs, but also there's something amazing about that collective energy. And also, you know, not feeling alone and cheering each other on, and being in a space, which I think is really hard to find, being in a space where people encourage each other and there's no competition, and it's about celebrating each other's wins. I think that was really powerful. And I wouldn't get any of that if it was one-on-one coaching. So,
no way. That's why I know. I've tried everything myself in my own business, and it was only my first mastermind was a $9,000 investment, and the next one was a $20,000. And like for me, when I stepped into masterminds, everything changed. I became friends with people who were doing the same things, and we'd get on the phone and we'd compare notes, and we were living and breathing it. Like, it's a whole other level. And, you know, someone's put a question in here, and I'm going to ask this for you. So Kimberly's saying, perhaps some of us feel confident in the program, but we feel like we won't be able to follow through. Fear, lack of confidence, etc. What would your either experience or advice be to Kimberly in that way? Because I talked about that just before, right? I think people are actually more scared of failing and giving it a shot. They tell me that they don't have the money or whatever, but actually the money story doesn't make sense, because you're joining the program to learn to make money. So yes, there might be a short term, like you had to take a leap of faith or a risk in the short term, but the bigger risk, absolutely, in hindsight, would have been not taking action. I mean, you would have, whatever you've made since then, even first 10 weeks, $10,000, like that would have been, you never would have got that. That's far and beyond the investment. You know, you paid that back in only a couple of weeks, really. Like the much bigger risk would be not take action. And most of us are more scared. What if not me, like you as the client, but this is what we all do as women. What if I join the program and I fail? That's the bigger fear, if we're really honest with ourselves. We don't want to face failure. So Kimberly's saying, you know, if we feel like we won't be able to follow through, how has the mastermind supported you? Because I know you had similar thoughts to make sure you did follow through. What was the, you know, support? I mean, one-on-one coaching for a half an hour a week or something couldn't have given you that. So how did the mastermind give that to you so that you knew that you followed through? Like, was it the structured plan that you knew what to do? Was it having that 24/7 Facebook group you could just ask everything and watch others as well? Getting template, you know, a lot of ladies have talked about that. Was it having the laser coaching with me so that you couldn't hide when blocks did start coming up or you weren't following through? Which, or is it all of it? Like, what's your experience?
Honest answer is, firstly, I decided to trust you. And pretty quickly I realized that you're not like like a super guru or something. Like, you're just like everyone else, and you, like you said, you know, you share your mistakes and things that are happening now, and all of a sudden I think something starts to happen in your psyche of like, oh, hold on, she is normal. If she can do it, I can do it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to trust this process. I'm going to play full out for 6 months, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make this happen. So, you know, for me, I turned up to almost every laser call, even though some of them were at 2 o'clock in the morning, my time or whatever. You know, I listened to the business training, and then I re-listened to it, and then I wrote notes on it, and I re-listened to the laser calls, and I asked questions in the Facebook group. And what I realized very quickly is it's impossible to fail. Like, the plan is foolproof if you engage, if you play full out, if you follow the training. I honestly don't believe you can fail. I don't think it's possible. The only way that I guess you could fail is if you pulled yourself out of the game, or if you didn't show up. I think that the mastermind is in a way that, you know, once you make that investment, I think something happens where you're like, no, I'm gonna, what's the point in making that investment and then not showing up or not doing the work, right?
It's a commitment to yourself.
Yeah. And of course, I think everybody has that fear. I was just talking to someone who joined the mastermind from London, who was saying the same thing to me, like, what if I fail? And I was like, well, what's the difference between me and you? And she said, nothing. And I was like, right then, so just do the work. And, you know, I can say that with confidence because I've gone through it, but it's so true. There is nothing different from anyone that's had success in the mastermind to anyone that's thinking about it or just starting. Like, genuinely, I was just saying to my husband before this call, like, I still have so many struggles and so many things to work through and so many blocks that come up, but I'm still being successful. And I think it's realizing that they're never going to go away. And I know you've shared that you do, but you can still be successful with that. So
absolutely. Success is a learned formula. And I can trace back exactly what I've done in the last 4 or 5 years to build my business where I am today.
Right.
And there are masculine business steps which are not taught in any of the health coaching schools. They are not taught. Even for specifically in the health industry, I haven't seen it in any of the more generic online business people that we might follow. A lot of people take those courses and then wonder why it's not working for health coaches. There's reasons. And the internal work, which I do in the laser coaching, which comes with my energetic background as well, you need to be working on that.
Right.
Because there are blocks. You can take all that. The only reason, I'll answer Kimberly's question through my lens. The only reason that you won't take action is if there's a subconscious block stopping you. The only reason I can't help you with that is if you don't show up on the call and tell us. And so we will encourage at the beginning of the mastermind, you'll get an accountability buddy. You've got an accountability buddy, right, in the mastermind.
Yes.
And I know a lot of you do, a lot of you, talk on the phone, etc. We are here. Natasha, who's on the call today, has been in every mastermind with me. She's here for all of us. I'm here for all of you. But the ladies are all here. And as long as you don't run away and hide, then we've got you.
Yeah.
And I don't know how else you would get that, support in that way. So someone's just said, are the women of all ages in the program? Yes. Everyone's nodding. Beth was in her 60s this time in the program who we're in. Yeah, there we go. Yoli 49, you're a spring chicken. Oh, that's Shonda. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. We've had women in their 60s in several programs, women in their 20s, right through all ages. And there's no difference. I mean, even if we look at target market, which isn't really our teaching today, it's about the community of what you're looking for, the journey from where you are today to the outcome you want. And we're all on that journey together. So any final words, Amanda? I know that, we're talking a long time today in the community, but I'm here for anyone who wants to, this is my passion, helping all of us who are serious about this path. So anything else, Amanda has an awesome interview, by the way, on my behind the scenes page, which Natasha might put the link in the chat box if anyone wants to watch that after. There's about 12 interviews on there actually. And I'm sure Amanda's free to talk to anyone as well. I know you're normally happy to jump on the phone with anyone who might be looking at joining, wants to hear it through your lens, etc. But anyone who has a question for Amanda, feel free to put it in the chat box. By the way, the UK ladies are always the strongest to tell me that health coaching is not there yet, and often getting the most amazing results, because why not you to be the leader? Like I said at the beginning, it's the most unlikely candidates.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we need to dream bigger.
Yeah. I mean, if I could just end with, I mean, I did some of the best online business training in the world before I joined the mastermind, and nothing, genuinely, hand on heart, nothing compared to what we had in the mastermind. Number one, because the business training is so unique to health coaching, and I think that's the power of it. But there is nothing more powerful than the live element of the mastermind. So I don't believe that. And I mean, I know there are money issues sometimes, but I just would say at least get on a call, because you can't just leave money on the table like that. Like I just say to anyone that says they're not sure, it's like you can't not afford it, because it will change your life and it will change your business. If you can just, you'll feel the fear, but just do it anyway. That's my biggest advice, I would say.
Yeah, the poo your pants experience that we talk about. You got to be excited and scared and all those things at one time. And thank you, Amanda. And if anyone wants to ask any questions in the chat box of Amanda, she's here, or I'm sure that she'll open herself up if you want to talk to her as well later. So if you want to mute yourself. Something I just wanted to say there, you know, not only can we not take the risk for ourselves, it's much bigger than that. It's like that moment I had in Golden Gate Park where I realized this isn't just about me and me wanting to be a health coach and me wanting my health coaching business to be the best and help most people. The weight of it, I mean, weight isn't quite the word, but the impact, the truth of that the world needs this. And if you're sitting at home in fear that what if it doesn't work for me, and not actually opening to having other women support you, pass you everything they know, and give yourself that opportunity, in some ways it's selfish, because you are all sitting on plenty of skills. You know, we saw Shonda, as green as they come, you know, brand new. We saw Karen making 10K a month and she had no qualifications. Like, you are here to be of service. You can create impact, even in just one person's life. You're only going to need a client every second month, you know, to pay the mastermind, etc. So I want us just to stop for a moment and remember, it's not just about us and the money we can make and the freedom in our lifestyle, and we can travel the world and all those great things, but the impact and the calling that we have as health coaches. And this is a very unique conversation around that impact of health coaching and how we are working together to rise that as an industry. And I don't think we'll find that anywhere else but this community. So on that note, Shonda, could you mute yourself? For some reason it's become unmuted. Thank you. Okay. Jamie, let's try you again. Can you unmute yourself? Fingers crossed for Jamie, everyone. Can you talk? Can you talk? No! I thought you had it right now. Oh no. Is there any other way? The only way I can think to get you on is for you to log in, maybe using Tasha's login. So if you want to log off and see if you can do that, and we can come to you at the very end. Tash, that would mean you need to log out and give Jamie your login. If it gets too complicated, we might have to give it a miss. But I really wanted Jamie to share her story. And it's a beautiful story and a really important one for our community, but there's no sound still. So let's go to Melinda, because we've got one other lady just joined us. So you've got a little bit more time again, Jamie. And let's see if you can get on with Tasha's login. See if that might work. Fingers crossed. Okay, Min, would you like to unmute yourself and go from there? I can't do it.
Hi. How you
Hello.
going?
Good. How are you?
Worked. Good, thank you.
Thank you. You've missed, I know earlier you were out dropping kids at school and all those
I
good
was.
things. And, you know, I forgot
was.
to say that to a few of the ladies that we've already talked to. A lot of the women, most of the women even in the group are mums and have other things or have a full-time job or have kids to take care of. Like nobody is sitting in this community with 24/7 on their hands, just like growing their health coaching business. So I want to make that very clear. You've even seen, you know, to get women on the call today who want to give up their time to share with all of you whatever they can and answer any of your questions. They're all juggling root canals or picking up kids or whatever it might be. And we're all human, you know, in that way. And again, that's what a lot of the ladies today have talked about, is the experience of not seeing the shiny pictures online and thinking, oh my God, they can do it, not us. But coming together as a group of women who are all real, who are all living complicated and busy lives, and none of us have time, and none of us have, you know, none of us are models or celebrities and all this. Like, that's fine. And this is part of the community. So, Min, what you've missed is we've just really been ad hocing questions either that people are asking or really reflecting on our journeys of the mastermind. So Min also just graduated last week. Just done 6 months in the Upswing Mastermind. Do you want to give us a little bit of a snapshot of where you were before you joined the program? So had you done health coaching training, or had you done fitness training or another, like where were you at, and where were you stuck perhaps in growing your business?
Yeah, so I had completed my health coaching stuff through IIN, like lots of health coaches out there. And, you know, I sort of went into that without an understanding of what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to expand my knowledge, and I wanted to, I don't know, I guess, be able to help people predominantly get back to real food. That's where my passion is in real food. And I've got a young family, and I think my eldest going to school sort of highlighted to me that we had, you know, moved away from, you know, getting back to basics with our food. And I was at the time still working pretty much a full-time job, which involved a over 2-hour commute every day, a job that I'd been in for 15 years. And it wasn't that I thought that my time was up there. I just knew that for me, I needed to expand my knowledge a little bit. And then mid-year, or at the start of last year, I was given an opportunity to work alongside a gym with a health and fitness program, and it just cemented to me that I had capacity and ability, and that I could help make a difference out there. But I just felt that I needed some more coaching and training myself. And I just really felt, and I feel it more now, is that, you know, the world is changing, and whether you think it's good or not, I think we have an opportunity now to be part of that change and to make a difference. I think people are becoming more and more aware that the importance of their physical and mental and gut health, and the impact that that has on your own life and the life of others around you. And I just wanted to be a part of that upswing, I guess. And I had a lot of fear around putting myself out there and being seen and being heard. And I just bit the bullet and got started. And during the 6 months journey, we had lots of change in our household. I decided to leave my job of 15 years, which meant a lot of change in our family. But by, you know, doing that, and I'm not saying to go leave your full-time job or anything like that, but it opened up a lot of opportunity that probably wouldn't have been available if we didn't take that leap of faith. So I took a leap of faith by joining Upswing. I took a leap of faith, or my family, my husband and my children took a leap of faith by me leaving my corporate job. I picked up some part-time work with a nutritionist. Opportunities are constantly presenting themselves because I'm open to them. And I think that Upswing has really given me the confidence to be seen and heard. And I still am building on all that, and there's still so much opportunity, and I'm just beginning. And the support, like Amanda said, the support in a group environment is amazing. I didn't keep up with the course content. We had a lot going on, but I've spent the last sort of 8 weeks working through it. But every week I listen to the laser group calls, and each call someone would ask a question that sort of had been bubbling at the back of my head, whether I knew consciously that question was there, and I'd be like, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's right. And then I've got notes everywhere. And, you know, so you may not, I didn't get onto every call, but those calls are invaluable because someone asks the question that you're thinking of, and then you learn from other people's experiences. And it is an amazing group to be part of. And connection is really important, because a health coaching journey is kind of a journey on your own. So when you have people in your corner that are supporting you and barracking for you and encouraging you, like, you can't help but grow.
I was gonna, all of a sudden, these things that I had kind of around me are coming into place, and it may be because Min may be our last speaker, or maybe Jamie will, but a couple of things I want to go into. And just then I'm going to actually talk about at the very end today. This book I've been reading, don't like all dive into worrying about what book it is right now, but it's talking about 3 areas of life for us to be fulfilled and to live in our purpose and to be happy, basically. 1 is health. You are all here to be leaders of that. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. There is a massive energy coming through where health leaders are needed. I'm seeing it as a coach. It's getting easier for you guys to get clients. People are wanting it more. And yes, I'm going to come back in a moment to the changes we're feeling and experiencing in the world. 1 is health. 1 is connection. There's only 3 things you need in place. The second is connection. And it talks about they need to be connection with women or people who think the same. We've talked a lot about that on today's call. If you surround yourself with people who are saying it won't work, it can't work, etc., that's what you are choosing to live in and believe. Connection with the woman or people around you who are on the same journey is number 2 pillar. Health and connection with the right people. Number 3 is making a difference and a purpose in the world. You need to be doing work, and more of us, as times start to shift and change, are going to be called, whether or not we want to, into work which is actually going to make an impact for others. That's it. 3 pillars, of which all of you are leaders of one. And that's where we're going. And so there's a couple of other things, you know, that I want to mention there as well, that a lot of ladies, we have call times that cover Europe, America, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand. There's plenty of call times. But yeah, a lot of people, you know, say, what if I can't make every call? And I'm just so glad that Min talked about that actually you don't need to be the one there getting the coaching to have the breakthroughs week after week. And life does come in and you get behind, and you can catch up because you've got access, you know, ongoing, and it's all very perfect in that way. But let me just pause for a moment and talk about that change that I mentioned right at the beginning of the call, and I wasn't sure if we'd go there on today's call. And there is change happening in the world. We can all feel it. And I'm not here to go into judgment of which is right or which is wrong or which is blah, 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 because all we need to know is there is change. And what I've known for many years is that there is a change coming, and that change involves health coaches rising. I know that. And those of you know it too, but it's hard when there's not a lot of people ahead of us because you are the leaders. It's hard to believe if you're not surrounded by others, but this is happening. And as much as you might get quote unquote negative evidence or whatever outside world, if you're really honest and still, the positive evidence is inside too. But this is rising in you to be a leader, whether or not you choose it. Of course, we all have choice. But if you're meant to do this work, if you know it's your purpose, we can't afford to let our husband's fear pull us down, our kids' fear. I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, we're all in families. We've all got other people around us. But as women, where our power is going to come back is not by complaining or going into victimhood, but by taking our power back and being the one to back ourselves and go, I'm doing this. And it's scary, but I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to be in connection, and I'm going to bring health into the world. And again, while we're not here to go too deep on that today, I did want to share that before this call, I pulled an angel card to see with all this crazy swirling energy, there's a lot of change going on, and all of you are right here, right now, at that portal of change time on this call. What in the world needs to be shared is what I asked. And I'm not lying, because there's no way that I could have pre-prepared this. This is the card that was pulled before this call, and I always forgot. And whether or not you want to believe in my angel cards or energy or whatever it is, I think there's a knowing in all of us that life is changing. And change can be scary. But I've never been more excited for our community, because I know without any doubt that there is so much shift and change that needs to happen in the world on a health level. And somebody's got to lead it. Karen, it said health. It is the angel of health, is what I pulled this morning right before our call. Say honestly, what is needed at this time, and what does this community need to know is important for their time of change? There are many ways that we will create impact as the world goes through changes. And those pillars are the best three. We can look after our health. We can lead with health. We can be in community of people, of like-minded people who are going forward despite the uncertainty. Because change is meant to wake us up and is meant to put us into our power. And again, it's the lens that you choose to step through change in. And I could not be more excited for the changes that are coming this year for those in this community, because we've been talking about it, and it's happening, and it's rising, and it's bubbling, and it's exciting because it's scary, and it's scary because it's true that you're stepping into your power. Which for many women, we haven't experienced before, but we want it, but we don't, and we do, and we don't, and I want to go forward, but what if it doesn't work? And the invitation is here to join a community of women who are going, you know what? I am doing it. I'm scared. I'm vulnerable. I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but we're doing it. And that's where I'm coming from. And that's the leadership that you will get in 2017 if you are in this community. As we do ride, well, there will be global changes, and we can feel it, and they're positive. And I'm so glad that Min brought those up, even if they don't feel positive on the outside. You know, I really believe this year is about learning to not run from that, but be in it. How can we be both? How can we still be in our light? How can we still shine? How can we get our work out into the world and make a difference, even in times of uncertainty? So, Min, I'm going to throw a curveball question to you, and I don't even know what you'll say. Husband and children, you mentioned them. How have they been on your journey? Was there any resistance in the early days, like when you wanted to invest or change direction, or how was that for you?
No, but they're pretty good once they get, like, my kids are young, so I think that the biggest change for them is they've had me around a lot more, which has been a really positive impact for my family. I think even though they're just 8 and 5, so they're young, I've been able to, in the last 4 months, reconnect with my kids, which has been, you know, amazing. My husband has been really great. He's been really supportive, and it has taken a little bit for us both to get used to a change in lifestyle, but he has incredible belief in me, and his advice I listen to, but you know, it comes from a different place than when you're receiving advice from like-minded people, and people that are in a similar industry. You know, we don't all necessarily have the same target market or vision, but, you know, you come from the same kind of place. But all his advice comes from a place of love, and he's very supportive. And in my goals and visions, you know, it's not just about things that I want to achieve in helping people. I want to also create a better life for my family. So for me, that means enabling my husband to, you know, almost work part-time so that he can have some time off each week with the family. And you know, they seem like big, hairy, scary goals, but as a family unit, my goals really involve them. And I think that helps with his belief and support. And encouragement as well. And, you know, you kind of go 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Money is a huge thing for people. It's, you know, it takes up a lot of space in our head. But so a lot of that has been 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but, you know, it's progress, not perfection. And, you know, when you have support and belief and create space, opportunities and abundance will come and is coming.
Amazing. And we could go so deep into what all those are for you, but I'm just so grateful that you shared, I think, you know, in the reality, because some of us have supportive partners, some of us don't. A lot of us have, you know, found that friends and family might have even fallen away as we've stepped into our truth in recent years, maybe not understood that. Either way, the group of women to come together and have this kind of conversation every week, twice a week, is, you know, what will hold us when we have these knowings inside and maybe other people don't understand us. And I'm the same. My husband is supportive, but he hasn't always been. You know, when I shared joining those masterminds, like, men want to protect us. They look at the figures, the numbers, and they don't understand this rising in us that is happening as women, and changes and leadership. And, you know, if that is something that even resonates with you on any level, then absolutely, you know, these conversations, whether you're watching the replays like Min has a lot or live each week, are I would say essential. So thank you, Min, for sharing that with us.
Pleasure.
Thank you. And I'm sure Min will answer any chat, anything in the chat box too, if you just want to mute yourself again, or, you know, like any of the other ladies, available to talk to you if need be. Now, what I'm going to do for those of you who are asking the details of this mastermind that everyone's done, I'm going to go through that quickly, and then we'll finish with Jamie's beautiful story. And I will trust the universe that we have sound from her when we do that. So, because I think what we're just talking about is so important for, you know, talking about those of you who are, I know many of you on the call are considering the Upswing Mastermind, and we do start on Monday, and it is the final days, and I know a lot of you, you know, are considering that. So, Tash, can you just let me know that my screen is sharing properly? I'm sure it is today. And I'm just laughing. I'm always in masterminds myself. I'm always with coaches, and one of my mastermind buddies randomly just sent me a little voice message and kind of inside joke while we've been on this call. And, you know, it just makes me smile every time I see that, know that I've got people on my team who are like-minded, and, you know, she's from another part of the world as well. And that just, you know, kind of reminds me that we need to all be in this together. So I'm pretty sure that you can see my screen, and what we're talking about now is that 2017, we're at a very different place than we were this time last year. You know, the world is undeniably in a period of change, and honestly, this just lights me up, because everything that I've known to be true for our health coaching community is now absolutely happening. And it's a time of getting honest as women about what are our dreams, not settling for the status quo on a community level, on a you know, a collective level, but for ourselves. Change starts with ourselves, ladies. And it's a time to start contributing to society in much more meaningful ways than maybe we have before. And that's by showing up and using our gifts, our services. One of the questions that we use every day in the mastermind is, how can I show up today with the gifts that I already have to serve others? And it's time to start focusing on the change that we are here to make. There's no coincidence that you are feeling drawn to health. It is the area that you are supposed to be leading in. But most importantly, it's time to take action. I think the changes that we've felt in the world in the last 6 months are a reminder that it's not one day. It's not, oh, this isn't the right time. Now's the right time. There'll never be a better time. And so really quickly, for those of you who maybe haven't heard of the Mastermind before or want a little bit more detail, the Upswing Mastermind is my 6-month program for driven health coaches. By driven, I mean you've got a purpose and you know you're meant to get this work out in the world. And like we've talked about today, maybe you haven't had a system in place to do it, the guidance to do it. It's not taught in the health coaching schools, the system to actually get clients in the real world today. We can't work it out by ourselves, or we could, but it'll probably just take so long. Why would you not get support through a proven system? And that's what I've made here through growing my own business, through mentoring hundreds of ladies through this program and thousands through my other programs. I know what is working in the health coaching space. I am absolutely, you know, in the field with you all. The last 6 months with the group, a lot that you've just seen some of the women today, like Natasha, who's on the call today, and I refined this program up to date with what's working today. And it's not even the same as last year. And this is a living, breathing program, which is absolutely the cutting edge for health coaches. You have weekly video business trainings, me on video with slides. You've got a beautiful membership portal where you will get business training that is not taught anywhere else. It's specific for health coaches, healers, coaches in a like-minded wellness capacity. You get the weekly group laser coaching sessions, which we've talked about. You've heard the ladies talk about today, which is me on video with you, coaching you. You get bonus calls with industry guest mentors, workshops, workbooks, templates, scripts, resources, anything that I own is yours. Private community that we've heard so much about today for all those questions that do come up 24/7. And Natasha was actually sharing with me, you know, some of her other clients who have groups, like she sees that our mastermind community is just like, I can't remember the words you used, Tash, but like, you never shut up. It's probably a nice way of saying it. Like the interaction until, I was going to say to the very last day of the 6 months, but actually and beyond until I, you know, eventually shut your group, never stops. And not many communities, even a lot of other top business coaches, the communities aren't as active as we have in the Upswing Mastermind. It is a beautiful space, which is alive and living. I mean it when I say 24/7. And this program has the highest level of accountability and support possible for you as a beginner coach. There are 6 modules. We work through a structured business curriculum over 6 monthly modules for 6 months. And there are 3 main pillars that I'd like to be clear on. There's your business training, which is what comes out in your membership site each week. You'll be delivered a business training each week for 6 months, me on video, teaching you the concepts that you have not been taught yet. It's not your fault if you're not getting results. These are the missing pieces. And they're not taught in the health coaching schools. And I haven't seen them taught specifically for health coaches anywhere else. For 6 months, you'll get one of those a week to work through at your own pace. You don't have to be live. You can watch them in your own time. We have the masterminding group in the Facebook group. Like I said, it's 24/7. And the laser coaching calls, 3 out of 4 weeks each module, we do laser coaching. And we have 2 call times a week. So there's plenty of different times for different time zones for you to come along to one of those and ask your question and be coached by me live, as well as witnessing the other woman's coaching. And as we've heard today, those are also put up in your membership site for replays. So you have both of them to listen to, whether or not you can make both calls or one, or however that works for you. And when I look at these 3 pillars, which I've been teaching for the last several years, hundreds of women have gone through this program now. When I look at these 3 core pillars, not only do I not believe that any of those, there's no way I could teach that as one-on-one. It's why one-on-one now I only work with advanced business owners. At a beginner level, all of this is needed. It's that synergy of everything we've talked about today that will get you the results that I don't see happening elsewhere. But beyond that, what I started to talk about before is this book I've been diving into, beautiful Jonathan Fields book, is those exact same pillars when I looked at it. The health and vitality, the business training is going to teach you how to get and be a leader and have a successful, thriving business, teaching the health and vitality bucket of these 3 buckets to a successful life, to happy life. The second is to be surrounded by the group of like-minded people. And the third is actually getting out there, not just talking about it, not just buying another online program that you never end up finishing. You're actually contributing to the group. You're being held accountable. You're being coached. So you're not talking about this career. You're actually out there contributing in the world. And when you do that, everything shifts. When you're really making an impact in the world, even from a wealth consciousness perspective, everything in your life will shift. So the program does start on Monday and applications are absolutely closing. There's only a couple of days left where I can possibly get on the phone and talk to you. So the price is $5,995 or $595 a month. So we've made a 12-month payment plan this time so that really, realistically, one client every second month should take that fear out of you even being able to pay it. I know we've talked a lot about the money piece today, and you need to apply. So upswingmastermind.com, there are application buttons on that page. And what you'll do is you'll go on there. You can apply, fill in an application form. There is no obligation. And if you've stuck with us through this call, I would absolutely recommend you do that, because by applying, you'll get a chance to talk to me. There's only a limited number of spots left now that I can jump on the phone with you. We've only got a few more days. And the program is approximately 3/4 full right now. So for those who are live on this call or watching the replay, you know, do apply, book in a time with me for a discovery session. And there is no obligation, and there is no, you know, need on my part either I just want to help you make a decision. That's why I open myself up for 30 minutes so that you can ask me any questions. I will ask you questions about your goals, where you want to go in your business. I will run through my formulas for business and work out if I think the program would work for you. You know, it's in my absolute highest interest to check that the program is going to bring you results. And, you know, we can talk through any of these fears you have around money, investing, maybe like Kimberly was talking about before, what if, you know, how can we help you to actually take action, all those good things. So if it's even an inkling of whether it might be right for you, I encourage you to grab one of those last spots in my schedule over the next couple of days, and we can jump on the phone, explore it together. But you'll need to fill in the application form first. Tash will put the upswingmastermind.com link in the chat box, and you will fill in an application. We can get on the phone, no obligation, but that's the process. And like I said, we're about 3/4 full right now. So those last spots are on the table, and you've got first dibs if you're live on this call today. So a couple of, you know, things I just want to remember from this call today, and then we'll wrap up with Jamie's story, is that everybody who's already joining the program has felt just like you, maybe a week or so ago. You know, like I say, we're 3/4 full. We just opened up the Facebook group a couple of days ago, and some of you might even be on this call. And, you know, I've just screenshotted really quickly a couple of conversations that I caught when I was pulling together this presentation yesterday. People getting their first clients. People getting over here, again, first secured my first paid client from Josephine there. Rebecca, this is my first ever potential client. Like, these are the conversations that are already happening, and I haven't even started the business training. This is from all that they've had is the 10 steps to 5K a month bonus training because they signed up early. You know, I've got email after email coming in from those who have already joined. Yeah, they're terrified. Some of them are on this call and they'll tell you they're terrified too. But at the same time, they're already starting to see, because when you take action, there's a result happening in the universe just from you taking that action. You can't not get a result and a transformation if you join this program and stick with us. So you've got until the end of day to get one extra bonus, because I realized that those of you have been hearing all these ladies rave about my 10 days to becoming a 5K woman workshop that they got as a bonus, and some of the past ladies. So for anyone who was on this Q&A session today, I honor you for staying you know, well over 2 hours to hear and support all the women in our community. So if you do sign up after watching this presentation today, you'll also get that bonus copy of my 10 days to become a 5K woman workshop, which is seeing women get results and paying clients without even the business training yet. We haven't even started, but we do start on Monday. And so 2017, it's a time for us as women to start making decisions that are true for us. It's time to take our desires and dreams seriously. It's time for us to feel our fears and do it anyway. It's time for us to step into our powerful selves and build our confidence. And it's time to make a massive difference in the world, not only in our own lives, but I think ultimately what we know is most important is in the world collectively. And you are the ones with the training, you are the ones with the drive to get this work of health out there in a way that hasn't been offered to the world before. Health coaching is so needed, and that is something that we just go into in depth in the mastermind. So you are so confident on why a health coach is so massively valuable when you own that and know how to communicate that. And we are here collectively as health coaches to make a massive difference, and it starts now. So let's come back and finish with Jamie's story. Is Jamie still here? Jamie, have we got sound? There's so much hype. We got to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh my gosh, yes. For whatever reason, you're supposed to be last. Honoring everybody who has stayed 2.5 hours today for this beautiful community. And, you know, not this long, but certainly an hour to an hour and a half a week is what it would be your experience, you know, ongoing. And in this love and in this connection is going to massively change your life, you know, if you are willing to step forward into that. So, Jamie, please share with us. And I started to put some ideas in before of your story, but you don't have to share anything you don't want to either. So what would you like to share of where you were, first of all? It was a year ago that you joined the Upswing Mastermind. Where were you in your life? You actually joined absolute last minute. I think the doors had closed and you kind of pleaded me. I remember I was in LA walking down the street like, this lady's really pleading to get in. Like, we do have one space left. I better talk to her. Like, so where were you at that time?
Sure. So at that time I had just started IIN. So I had just started my health coach training, and at that point, I remember the day I signed up for IIN, and it was sort of the same feeling. I was actually in the corporate office where I had worked for 11 years, and I had a previous kind of health challenge, 8 years of like a pain condition, started eating differently, all that stuff. And it was just one of those things where I knew, and I came across your program, and similar to one of the other ladies, I binged watched Amanda Jane Daly on YouTube. And I just knew that the program was going to be absolutely fantastic. I knew that that's what I wanted to be doing. And even though my path and my journey has looked a little bit different than everybody else, I know without a doubt that it was the right decision.
Yeah, great.
And yes, I was scared.
Yes, you were really scared. There was just a knowing that you really wanted to get this work out there. You were starting to experience in your own life, but you also had health things, you know, going on for you.
Yeah.
And I remember a lot of our coaching in the early days as well was helping you deal with how you're going to leave your job and, you know, things that weren't serving you in your life as well, you know, in that way. But share with us whatever you feel is true to you, because I often think of you when I'm talking like, you know, 75% of people in this program have their first paying clients within 6 weeks. Like, I've checked the stats, and some have more, some have one, you know, all that kind of thing. And then people say to me, well, what about the other 25%? And I'm like, yeah, come on, we've got to be in reality that things happen in life. Yeah. And you didn't get clients in the first 6 weeks. And actually neither did Karen that we talked to before, which is why I wanted to bring in different people. Yet Karen was making $10,000 a month by the end. Do you want to share with us whatever feels true to you to share of your journey through the mastermind, what went on in your life and how the mastermind was involved in that, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was, like you mentioned, I was in a really high pressure job at that time. And I was, you know, in constant burnout, probably didn't realize that I was in burnout because it was just all the time. That was just my life. And I was at the same time going through IIN, taking your content that was absolutely fabulous. And I was just starting to really grasp onto what that all meant for me and my future. And, you know, I'm more confident sharing now kind of what happened. So I think it was at the end of March last year. So it might've been month 2 or right at the end of month 2. And I actually was in burnout so much that I drove myself right into a stroke. So I had a brainstem stroke. And that, you want to talk about fear moving forward, and okay, now what? Now what am I going to do? It's something that, you know, okay, it happened. I can't change it. There's a new normal now. And how perfectly that my target market now is women who want more energy in their life, because that's something that aligned to my health challenge before with pain, and with a stroke, something that is unique with fear in particular. So I'll hit on the energy, but then the fear is that your brain really changes and your energy goes down, because most of your energy is trying to heal your brain at that time. And so a lot of my actual cognitive capacity had been reduced. And for a perfectionist, that's not really something that I wanted to deal with. So
control.
Yeah, but here I was, you know, all this stuff going on, and really, you know, also after your brain is affected that way, any of those fears that may have been maybe right underneath the surface where you can just kind of take action and they will dissolve from there, those fears just come right up and they come right out. So I actually think that it was a blessing in disguise, and it allowed me to move forward to process those, which is why being in the mastermind and being in that group environment was like, I almost just start crying thinking about it, honestly, because it was so special to have you there and Tosh there and all of the, you know, all of the wonderful ladies there to support me in what I was going through personally, to work through those fears, which it was establishing a new normal, you know, and my life just got turned upside down, and I don't know what I would have done without such an awesomely supportive mastermind. And you know, the group was fantastic on a personal level for me that way, but it is so closely intertwined with the business side of it that you know, I continued to heal over the course of the 6 months. I continued to just kind of soak in as much of the structure and the content as I could, which is fantastic because, like you said, it is very rinse and repeat. So much so that that's all I've been doing since I basically graduated. And it is a new normal for me. I take it, it's so personal. And it needs to be customized. You know, I need to only do what I can handle. The good news is that I'm almost, in my mind, fully healed cognitively and everything else. And I'm really feeling as though things are just taking off now. And I now, because of the mastermind program, I have confidence in front of people. I used to be, like, I'm an introvert, like another one of the ladies on the call. I have so much confidence now in front of people. I'm running sold out workshops. And this is after a stroke when there's another layer of fear that, I can't find my words or that sort of thing. And it's just incredible. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just awesome. And if anyone has any hesitation at all, I mean, I don't know really what happened this last year, but I hope that helps to explain how awesome your program is.
Tell me if I'm right. What I'm hearing is, despite what was going on in life, you kept learning the training and you kept showing up when you could to the laser coaching and getting my support through whatever you were going through. And then you just kept rinsing and repeating the same formula. And so, you know, the first 6 months you had a lot of things going on, and the paying clients weren't coming as, you know, much as you might like, but then you kept rinsing and repeating it ongoing as well. You had the formula and kept doing the work, and now absolutely, like, sold out workshops and discovery sessions and clients, all these great things coming out from them is amazing to see. Like, it's like you were still soaking it up even though you had things going on in life, and when you were ready, you got out there and took action. And just the beginning, I absolutely know. And to see that you've gone through that journey in conjunction is so inspiring. And you were also inspiring to the whole group how you processed that, you know, and were actually, I mean, shocking even to me how you stayed committed through all of that to the mastermind. And I think that's testament to the woman in the group and the energy that you were supported by in the group. And to know for any of you that sometimes the results, it's like my neck injury I talked about before. Sometimes we don't know when we're only 2 centimeters from the finish line. And there is faith, and you've got to keep going and rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. But if you keep following a system, even if life gets in the way, as it did for Jamie, or even if it's slower for you or faster for you or whatever, success is a repeatable formula. And it's up to you to repeat it. And it's up to you to ask for the help, to invest in the formula and to start with, and to have people on your team. But you can't fail at success. It is a measurable, repeatable. There's nothing special in some people and not others. And if you have that thought, we'll get that out on laser coaching really quickly. Like, this is possible for anyone. And yes, life comes in different waves and different journeys. But if you follow the system, it'll come through for you too. So Jamie, to see a year on, just kept tapping away at it, tapping away, despite all of that. It's just phenomenal. And the inspiration and light that you're now being in your workshops to others is phenomenal, because this is what we're talking about. It's all of us stepping into our power, saying yes to our dreams, despite we all have things going on in life. We all have fears. We all have illness or family members or whatever, but saying yes to us and following that path is the scariest thing, and there is no choice. And when you do that, it's something in you that lights up and inspires others at a level that can't even be explained, which is what Jamie is starting to experience now too.
Yeah.
And it's just a knowing when you get out there, whether it's maybe eventually on camera, maybe it's a photo like Shonda did, maybe it's on stage like some of the ladies have done today, but it certainly doesn't have to be done that way. People can feel it when you are willing to say yes to yourself, take those risks, and you'll attract clients who are willing to do the same for you. So Jamie, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I'm so grateful that we got you on in the end. And obviously that was meant to wrap up our call today. So if you want to mute yourself, and if anybody has any final questions, we still have Jamie, Min, and Shonda or myself here to answer any questions at all. 2.5 hours. I'm so grateful for those who have stayed the whole time. Anybody else? I know, just beautiful stories. And this is what we get to soak in every week. Any other questions? I'm just scanning. Yeah, Karen's sharing. Jamie, you're amazing. I'm a nurse and I get the impact that this has had on you. You've just put everything in so much perspective for me. Thank you. Congratulations on your recovery. And I love that word perspective there, because I know that we all have fears. But seriously, look at the perspective of what's going on in the world. And if we have impact to be made and we have resources that can help even just one person. If I hadn't have sat there in Golden Gate Park that day and gone, actually, let go of your own health coaching business and start helping others, Min wouldn't have left her job. Shonda wouldn't have done this. Jamie wouldn't have done that. Like all the ladies, let alone the thousands that I've been able to impact. Last year, able to make significant donations to schools in Africa, which are now being built with my, under the money that's come through our trainings. The impact. And yeah, it's important, the personal things we get to do too, the freedom to work for ourselves, work from the, today I'm working in the lounge, sometimes I work in my office, like sometimes I work from cafes, like those things are important too. But the impact we can make by just turning our own light on starts with facing the fear and doing it anyway. If you've got that like gnawing away inside, at least give yourself a call with me to explore. And the sooner you do that, the coming few days as we close up the intake for this mastermind, which will be the only one this year, at least that's on the plans. Universe may guide me to something different later, but definitely not on the agenda right now. And so if you feel guided in any way, next few days will be the last chance. If you really want to guarantee you get a call with me, jump on it as quick as possible today. And I would love to, just chat it through with anyone who is sitting on the fence and not sure if it's right for them. So thank you. Over 2.5 hours. This could be one of our marathon records. I could be here and support you guys all day, every day. I'm absolutely here for the next 6 months for you and your mastermind sisters. If you know that this works for you, I, am here for you. Absolutely. So thank you guys. Put me any messages. There's also a chat box on the Upswing Mastermind. Tasha, if we can get the Upswing Mastermind URL just one more time. There's a chat box at the bottom of that page if you want to jump on. I'm around for the next little while, so I can even get on there and chat to you. If not me, then Tash will be there and we can answer any questions. Otherwise, just apply and book in a call. Better to do so sooner rather than later, or to be one of the people a year down the track saying, I wish I did and I didn't. So I trust that if this work is for you, that you know that, and that you will find the faith, as we've heard from the other ladies, to follow your truth and your journey. And if it resonates with you, the way that I teach, the uniqueness, you know, for the health coaching and the healing industry. And if you, you know, resonate with the other ladies that you've seen here today, it's gonna be a very similar experience. There are others waiting in the group already getting their first clients, as I shared, who are waiting for you to join. And we're 3/4 full, so there's still plenty of room for some more of you. You'll just need to let me know in the next couple of days, get in that application, book a call time with me, and I'm here to help you make that decision, whether it's, you know, right for you or not at this time. So I would love to connect with any of you who are feeling that way, and want to just close up today's call by honoring our community. We have a big role to play in the changes which are coming through in our world. It's not a scary time, it's an exciting time. Who you surround yourself with, how you know, even let yourself think and feel and act during these times is what's going to be, like I always say, that 2-degree decision now is a very different path. And that's a choice, you know, that we all have. And that choice is here for you right now, and that opening to join us on this journey in the next 6 months, if that feels true to you, if you're committed to building your health coaching business, making money, income, clients. That is what the training is here for. And remember, you know, we should have calculated it with Amanda, how much you could be leaving on the table by not choosing to actually commit and get your paying clients now in coming months. So I'm excited for the journey. I would love to discuss it with you. If you are considering joining us, put it in an application. And it was so lovely to have all of you on the call today. Take care in honor of all our community. You know, thank you for staying. And anyone who's watching the replay, you know, flick over to Healthy Wealthy Society Facebook group as well if anyone wants to keep the conversation going. Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Bye.